station in association with the Toronto Blue Jays.
The talent speaks for itself. The weapons are elite.
Last year we do the trailer. This year you can see the movie.
Swinging and drive. You can forget it.
Wow.
Can you believe this team?
They're on their feet at the Rogers Center.
A lot of belief that this clubhouse is going to put together something special.
Well, the expectations are high, and they are real.
Legit contender for the division.
They are built to win.
It's World Series or bust for these guys.
Well, opening day is always one of the great days on the calendar, but when you talk about a team with this much talent having their first true opening day since 2019 in front of better than 48,000 people, Buck, everybody is some kind of excited about what might happen over the next 6 or 7 months.
Yeah, Dan, it's been a tremendous build-up to this moment, and obviously, as you mentioned, the Blue Jays haven't been here for a while, and a lot of players have never seen this ballpark full like it is tonight, and I think it's very exciting, and it reminds me of 92 and 93. The buildup of the players and how good they are and how good the core is, and what you think about the new additions like Matt Chapman, Teoscar Hernandez, back-to-back Silver Slugger Award winners, Bo Bichette just now getting established as a star in the big leagues. There are so many good players. You cannot shut down one player and expect to beat the Blue Jays because they have a multitude of stars in their lineup.
And you spent a lot of time around them down in Florida. I spent a lot of time around them down in Florida. Folks, they are so excited to be in Toronto, playing in front of big crowds, and to know they are going to be home all season. It means a lot to the fans. It means a lot to the players, too.
Well, it sure does. And the players don't really understand how Toronto is the center of the baseball universe when the team is good. And these fans love baseball. They love their team. We saw it in 92, 93. We saw it in 2015 and 2016. This is a special fan base, and they have a special team to root for.
And now a pre-game video that's really going to fire up the fans. And from what we understand, this is a big deal for the players, too. They like to see who's being featured in the video before every game as we get closer and closer to the first pitch of the season for the Toronto Blue Jays.
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go and go on beats. So who gon' stop me? You can't stop me. So who gon' stop me? We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go and go on beats.
Well, as you may have heard, a new scoreboard, a new lighting system here at Rogers Center, and boy, oh boy, are both of them impressive as the Blue Jays try to take everything to the next level here this season. And it starts here on opening night against the Texas Rangers with a better than 48,000. Only 5 of the 28 players on the roster right now were here for opening day in 2019. No Vladdy, no Bo, no Biggio, and no many others. For most of them, this is brand new to play in front of this size of crowd on their own home field. And it's again one of the reasons why they are so excited for this year, as Jose Barrios, the opening day starter for the Blue Jays, will lead them onto the field. So Jose Barrios on the mound, and the Texas Rangers providing the opposition tonight. The starting lineup for the Rangers is brought to you by Bet365, and of course a very familiar name sitting in the 2 spot for the Rangers. He was honored pregame for his Silver Slugger Award and his Gold Glove Award last year as a Blue Jay. Marcus Semien, who had a very nice reunion with a lot of his Blue Jay teammates on the workout day yesterday and again earlier today. And not surprisingly, Buck, you got a huge ovation from this capacity crowd.
Yeah, I sure did. They recognized what a great contributor he was to the team a year ago when they won 91 games. And he parlayed that into a terrific contract with the Texas Rangers. And they know him very well. They know he loves to hit the fastball, so Jose Barrios will be very aware of that. Marcus Semien, a class act, and certainly he gambled on himself and won. Jose Barrios will go to the mound to open things up for the Blue Jays. This will be the third time he's opened up a season for a team. Last year with the Twins and the Blue Jays, he made 32 starts, and that's one of his calling cards. He is durable. He goes to the mound every 5 days, and I think that's why the Blue Jays were comfortable extending that 7-year contract to him. Barrios, a 3-pitch pitcher with dynamic stuff. Well, when you win championships, you win it with pitching and defense. And let's take a look at the defense for the Blue Jays. It's Gurriel in left, Springer in center, and Hernandez in right. Up the middle, it's Bichette and Biggio. On the corners, Chapman and Guerrero. Danny Jansen behind the plate. And what an addition to this defense at third base for Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman, one of the best third basemen that we have seen in the last 30 years. He can pick it. He's got a tremendous arm, and he is thrilled to be here with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he can't wipe the smile off his face. Listen to the noise level rising here at the ballpark as first pitch is upon us. On the appeal, no swing, and it's ball one to Brad Miller, the left fielder, the leadoff man for the Rangers. And now the ball's coming out of play, as it always does. The first pitch of a new season. Miller, the left fielder, platoon guy for the Rangers, puts up good numbers against right-handed pitching. The Blue Jays have the shift on in the early going against them. And there's one in for a strike, and it's 1-1.
The Blue Jays are going to shift against this entire lineup. They have all the information they need. You can see Chapman's the only defender on the left side of the infield. And Barrios, he's got to hit his spots to utilize this shift.
Barrios settled in, as so many new Blue Jays seem to do almost instantaneously. It felt like after the trade, 12 starts for the Blue Jays, really finished strong at the end of the season. And then the even better news was the 7-year contract that he signed shortly after the end of the season, locking him up as a Blue Jay for a long, long time. Hit well to deep center field. Springer's back, and Miller has hit it out off the facing of the lower deck to give the Rangers an early 1-0 lead.
Well, that's exactly why Chris Woodward put Brad Miller in the leadoff spot. He said, I want the starting pitcher to be uncomfortable to start the game. Miller hit 20 home runs last year for the Phillies, and he gets a breaking ball that just kind of sits out over the plate and stays on it and drives it over the fence in center field. This is a different theory in baseball, and it's universal. The managers are stacking their lineup top of the order to put pressure on the starter to open the game.
Power in the leadoff spot, and of course a ton of power in the 2 spot, as Blue Jay fans know all too well. Marcus Semien with 45 home runs a year ago. Played a great second base. Played in every single game. Was everything the Blue Jays could have hoped he would be, and then some. And really got just a taste of playing in Toronto. 36 games once the Blue Jays came home at the end of July.
Yeah, he knows what Toronto can be when it's a full house, having played for the Oakland A's. And Brad Miller, one of the many acquisitions the Texas Rangers made over the offseason, gets the thing off and running for Texas.
3-0 green light. Semien fouls it off. A 7-year, $175 million deal for Marcus Semien. You combine that with what the guy in the on-deck circle got, Corey Seager, 10 years, $325 million. And the Rangers spent $500 million on 2 players to anchor their infield for a long, long time. And there's ball 4, down and away.
Well, again, the starting pitchers always have a challenging time in the first inning. Coming in, controlling your emotions, especially in opening day. You come out, you throw down in the bullpen on the bullpen mound, and you try to get acclimated and comfortable on the game mound. And it's always a challenge. We saw it this afternoon in New York with the Red Sox and the Yankees, and those hitters busted out for 5 runs in the first inning.
Yeah, Garrett Cole was down 2-0, 2 batters into the game. The Yankees eventually came back and beat the Red Sox in 11. Now here's Seager. A little change up in there for a strike from Berríos, to the former Los Angeles Dodgers. Such a talented player. 2-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger Award winner. Former NLCS and World Series MVP with the Dodgers. They've got Trey Turner now, and Seager going to Arlington. And again, Texas, they may not be ready to contend yet. They lost 102 games last year, but they feel they're in tremendous hands, obviously, up the middle with Seager and Semien.
Well, the president of baseball operations, John Daniels, was here with the ball club, and he said this is the first year where we're building towards something. We have been tearing down the last several years, and Chris Woodward, the former Blue Jay, is in his 4th season as the manager, and they now believe that they can start building, especially on these 2 middle infielders.
A little bit inside, 2-1 to Seager, as Berríos still looking to find his footing here. Woodward, as Buck mentioned, broke in as a member of the Blue Jays back in the 90s, finished his career too briefly as a Blue Jay. His wife is from Toronto, although the family lives in Arizona now, and he is really optimistic about where the Rangers are heading. 3-1, and this is very unlike Berríos, who as a Blue Jay last year struck out 78 and walked only 13.
Well, there's a lot of butterflies for everybody. Opening day, expectations sky high, and he's just not been able to find his release point yet.
To right field and down for a base hit. Semien around second, and he'll take third on the single by Seager.
Well, when you see a lot of pitches from the starter in the first inning, you have a pretty good read on what you're doing. And nowadays, everybody prepares for Berríos in this situation with video and batting practice. And this is a running fastball, a four-seamer that kind of ran along the plane of the bat. So it stays up for Seager, who delivers a base hit, and Marcus Semien knows he can go first to third. He's very familiar with this field. This is the same playing surface that they had last year, and it's still a little bit new and a little bit bouncy. So first and third, still nobody out here in the first.
So not the way that the Blue Jays wanted to get things going here tonight. Down 1-0, 2 on, still nobody out. And Berríos to face another new member of the Rangers, their catcher Mitch Garver, who they picked up at a deal with the Minnesota, a guy with a lot of power. The biggest issue for him is, can he stay healthy? They traded their shortstop Isaiah Kiner-Falefa to Minnesota for Garver, and then the Twins flipped Kiner-Falefa to the Yankees in a deal the next day. Blue Jays have the infield back as Garver looks at a strike.
And this is always interesting when you're a pitcher facing your former catcher in another uniform. Garver caught Berríos in Minnesota, so they know each other very well. It's kind of a guessing game. I wonder if he thinks I'm going to throw a breaking ball right now. But you still have to pitch to your strengths.
Fastball runs in. You can see the movement on it, and it's 1-1. As Buck mentioned off the top of the show, the third opening day start in the career of Jose Berríos, twice as a member of the Twins. Kevin Gausman will start tomorrow afternoon, and then Hyun-Jin Ryu on Sunday. One and two. Garver trying to find out if that was swinging or called. Looked like it was a called strike, and it's 1-2 on the Texas catcher. Feels like Berríos just needs an out to maybe settle down and get back to business here. Runners on the corners.
Well, with this offense of Blue Jays, if you're a starting pitcher, you just have to minimize the damage. Just keep things under control. You give up 3 or 4 runs, the Blue Jays more often than not are going to score 5 runs a game. So you have to have that mindset. Just don't let things get out of hand early in a game. Keep your club in it, and they'll score you some runs.
Already 18 pitches thrown by Berrios. The appeal did not go, says Andy Fletcher, the first base umpire. Now 2-2. Danny Jansen behind the plate tonight, waiting for Garver to get settled, and now the signs. Foul it off.
So here's where Berrios just has to have the mindset, make a good pitch right here, get a ground ball on the left side of the infield, and this defense will turn 2 for you. Yeah, it'll cost you a run, but at the same time, it'll get you 2 outs, and then you can really focus on closing out the inning.
Semien the runner at third, Seager at first, and a run in on the leadoff home run by Miller. Now again the 2-2. That fastball runs away and off the mitt of Jansen, and the run will come in to score. Semien crosses the plate, Seager to second, and it's 2-0 Rangers.
Danny Jansen did not have a pass ball all season last year. He had a heck of a season defensively, albeit he was injured a couple of times. This is a 4-seam fastball. It just runs away, and Danny puts the glove on it but can't close the grip, and that should be a pass ball in my estimation. He had a chance to make a catch. It just went off the webbing of his mitt and allows the runner to score from third. Played in 69 games last year, on the IL twice with a hamstring injury. He had no pass balls.
So a tough start for the Blue Jays continues here in the first inning. 2 runs in, still nobody out. And the 3-2. Boy, and they're making him work.
Yeah, and it's a concern. Obviously, first start of the season, he's thrown 22 pitches already and still hasn't recorded an out. Pete Walker felt like his pitchers were set, the starters, to throw about 90 pitches, given their workload in the abbreviated spring. But Berrios has eaten up that pitch count early.
Another foul off. 23 pitches now thrown by Berrios. And with so many pitches and nobody out, just in case, the bullpen is up already. Taylor Saucedo has started to throw. And a curveball that Garver wouldn't chase, and he walks him. And the troubles continue for Jose Berrios.
Now that's a pretty good indication of Garver's knowledge of Berrios' breaking ball, because he caught him so often in Minnesota, and he laid off that breaking ball twice. Berrios, a workhorse, and he had a couple of bad outings at the start of the spring, but got everything together at the end of spring training. This will give you an idea what he features, his pitch arsenal. That curveball is a hard breaking ball, and it's not really a true slider, and it's not a curveball. It kind of calls it a slurve. He throws the sinker fastball, a 4-seam fastball that'll ride up in the zone. And the changeup, he's got a pretty good changeup. You see the batting averages against for those respective pitches, and the changeup they're hitting just 152 against. But Pete Walker was confident that Berrios got in some good quality work at the end of spring training. He had a similar inning like this in his first outing against the Orioles in Sarasota, and actually came out of the game in that first inning and then re-entered the game in the second, albeit that was spring training. That's not going to happen tonight.
So Pete Walker to the mound, back to the dugout now. Saucedo continues to throw in the pen, and the batter is Nathaniel Lowe. And there's a base hit into center field. Seager's going to come in to score. Up to second goes Garver. RBI single Lowe, and Texas now leads 3-0.
Well, in the offseason, Texas had to improve their offense, and of course they did it with Seager and Semien coming over. Lowe had a good season last year. He drove in 72 runs with 18 home runs. Another 4-seam fastball that just moves out over the heart of the plate. And this is what I'm talking about, Dan, how the philosophy has changed so much in the game today. Hitters aren't seeing what a pitcher's featuring. They know what he's going to throw because of all of the information in the pregame preparation. So Lowe got a fastball. He was set for it and ripped it.
First pitch swinging, Adolis Garcia, the center fielder for the Rangers. A guy with a lot of power. 31 home runs a year ago. Had a big first half. Was an all-star last year as a rookie, but then really cooled off in the second half. Still put up pretty good numbers overall. And Jose Barrios still in search of that elusive first out. The last thing that he wants to do is force the bullpen to throw, 8, maybe more than that innings tonight on the very first night of the season, with the Blue Jays playing games in 10 consecutive days.
Yep, they have 10 straight before their first off day, and that's why you have the expanded bullpen.
Strike of the knees, 1-2. I mean, this guy is a pro's pro. He understands, his spot on the team. Good block there by Jansen. 2-2. Just 27 years of age, but has been around a long time, and as Buck mentioned, is durable a pitcher as there is. He has never missed a start in his major league career. Boy, does he need a ground ball right at somebody right here. Up high in a full count.
Yeah, he sure does, and this might be his last batter no matter what happens. Just because you got a left-handed hitter on deck in Cole Calhoun, you got Saucedo ready down in the bullpen, and his pitch count is to the point where you might have to take him out of this game.
Ground ball to third. Chapman to second one. Biggio not in time back to first. Little bobble there by Chapman, but they do get one out.
Yeah, you picked up on it right away, Dan. He had that momentary bobble in his glove. Couldn't get the ball out in time. Garcia runs well, but if Chapman comes out of his glove cleanly, they can turn two. But there's a good example of his range. Watch how far to his left he goes. He cuts in front of Bo Bichette, and there's the hesitation. Took him a little bit too long to unload it to get to Biggio, and they couldn't convert the double play. See him fumbling there. He got his hand stuck in the webbing of his glove and never really came out of it cleanly.
So first and third, one out. Barrios will stay, and here's Cole Calhoun, longtime Angel, last couple of years with the Diamondbacks. Swing and a miss. Barrios beats him with a fastball.
Another first pitch swing. When these coaches prepare the lineup for the game, they'll say, okay, here's the pitch that he'll probably start you with, and the hitters don't take anymore. They're all set to swing. They've practiced what they think they're going to see from Barrios in the hitting tunnels, in the hitting cages, during batting practice. There aren't too many takes early in the game.
0-2. Calhoun, a platoon player, again expected to be for the Rangers. He'll face right-handed pitching. Had some good years with the Angels. Hit 235, 5 home runs a year ago, hitting in the 7th spot for the Rangers. Barrios just trying to give Charlie Montoyo enough confidence to let him try to get out of this inning somehow, but he's up to 33 pitches already. Runner goes from first. Breaking ball down and in, and it hit him in the foot, and Calhoun down to first to load the bases, and here comes Charlie Montoyo. Somewhat stunningly, that is going to be all for Jose Barrios tonight as he gets just one out here on opening night.
Yeah, very disappointing for sure, especially for Barrios, and expectations were sky high, and he was looking forward to this start, you can bet, and he has to leave the game. You can see him tell his manager, my bad, man, and he feels as bad as anybody in this ballpark. Taylor Saucedo will come on to face Ibanez when we come back.
Well, about the last thing you would expect from one of the steadiest starting pitchers in baseball in recent years. Jose Barrios, Buck, he just never had it tonight and only got one out.
Now, he never really got settled in. The leadoff home run to Brad Miller, and then he walked Simeon, and Seager got a base hit. It just unraveled very quickly for him, and now they'll look to Salcedo to stop the bleeding here. Bases loaded, just one out, facing the number 8 hitter.
Salcedo, who had a very nice spring, pitched his way onto the staff. 29 appearances a year ago for the Blue Jays, a 4.56 ERA. A big moving slider that could be really tough on left-handed batters, but the first batter he will face is a righty here with Andy Ibanez, the third baseman, up with the bases loaded, and a ground ball to short. Bichette to second, one, and they will get the out there, but he couldn't come up on the transfer to try to turn 2, and a run is in to make it 4-0.
Salcedo got exactly what he was hoping for, a sharply hit ground ball to the shortstop. Bo made a good feed to second, but Cavan, trying to get the pivot and the throw off to first, can't handle it and bobbled it. I mean, this is a tailor-made double play ball. You've got to turn this double play, and the feed is good, but you can see Cavan never fielded it out of his glove. So all they can get is one, and that's another run for Texas.
So fielder's choice, RBI. There is no error assessed on that play. Now, by baseball scoring, you cannot assume a double play, so no error charged to Biggio. First and third, 2 down, 4-0. And the batter was Willie Calhoun, the number 9 hitter and the designated hitter for the Rangers tonight. You see his numbers from a year ago, back in 2019, when he played more. He had 21 home runs for the Rangers. So Barrios didn't have it, and 2 bobbles on the infield. Maybe everybody's just, I mean, this is the easy thing to say. Whether there's a little bit of opening night jitters with all the hype, we don't know, but just plays that normally will be made that weren't made here in the first inning tonight. Back goes Springer, and he's there. Finally, the top of the first is over, but Texas puts 4 on the board. They wanted to get the season going, down 4-0, but a potent offense, obviously, as the Blue Jays, with George Springer leading off, get ready to come up in the bottom of the first. And a look at that Blue Jay lineup with a healthy Springer at the top. Bichette, Guerrero, Teoscar, Lourdes Gurriel 2 through 5. Alejandro Kirk is the DH tonight. Then Chapman, Jansen, Biggio. What can you say about Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s season a year ago that hasn't already been said? The Hank Aaron Award winner, Silver Slugger winner, led the league in OPS, tied for the league lead in home runs, etc., etc. And hoping for just as good, if not even a little bit better, in 2022 as they get a look at a new member of the Rangers in Jon Gray.
30-year-old Jon Gray signed a 4-year free agent contract in the offseason. He pitched his previous ball in Colorado, and he pitched very well in Colorado, which is kind of unusual. You see, in 29 starts, he had a pretty good ERA at 4.59 and bonus batting average very respectable at 2.45. Fastball, slider, changeup, and a curveball, primarily fastball and slider.
Let's take a look now at the defense for the Rangers, brought to you by Bet365.
Texas actually had pretty good defense last year. This year, Miller gets the start in left field. Garcia can really throw in center, and Cole Calhoun, the former Angel, is in right field. Seager and Simeon, that's the $500 million middle infield. Ibanez at third, Lowe at first, and Mitch Garver, former Minnesota Twins, is back behind the plate.
And George Springer to lead it off. And looks at that 95-mile-an-hour fastball in for a strike. Springer with a healthy spring training. Obviously, everybody hoping he can play more often than he did a year ago when he appeared in just under half of the games for the Blue Jays, played in 78. And produced very well. 22 homers, a 907 OPS. And, I mean, he can really get things started at the top of the order with his power.
Well, he sure can, and a big thing for him, stay on the field. And he's got 43 career leadoff home runs, and that would do an awful lot to get the Blue Jays emotionally right back in this game.
Out there at the top of the zone, 2-1 on Springer.
One thing I like about this lineup is they are very patient. They're not panicking because they're 4 down, and they're still going to wait for their pitch. Springer laying off that high fastball.
Big swing and a foul back, 2-2. Springer, Bichette, Guerrero. Charlie Montoyo toyed with the 2-3-4 part of the order here and there in the spring. At times moving Vladdy up to 2, Teoscar Hernandez to 3, Bo Bichette down to 4. And Charlie said before the game tonight he wanted to do it in the spring, just get a look at it, see how the players felt about it. But they're back to their more customary spots tonight.
Well, we talk about Charlie being a player's manager, and he believes that the players are most comfortable in this order right now. But that can change, of course. And Vladdy hit third most of the year last year. Bo hit second an awful lot. Springer's hit leadoff most of his career, but I wouldn't be surprised later on, maybe by the end of this month, that Vladdy might slide up to that 2 spot.
Springer goes around. Bill Welke rings him up, 1 down.
That's the nasty slider, and that's what Gray's going to use to finish at bats. He's the fastball slider, and George didn't think he went around, and I might agree with him. Tight spin. There's a good dot on that baseball, and George thought he had checked. Home plate umpire Bill Welke calls him for a swing, and I think you could say that's a swing. He kind of went in front, and George didn't agree with the call, but it's a strikeout nonetheless.
So now Bo Bichette. Bo coming off a very good year in his first full year in the majors. He played in 159 of the 162 games. Hit .298, 29 home runs, stole 25 bases. And maybe just as importantly, his defense got much better in the last couple of months of the season. Big swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, he really went to work on the 31st of July and started to take ground balls every single day. He committed just 4 errors in the last 59 games of the season.
And a ground ball to his former double play partner Marcus Semien, who throws him out, 2 down.
First baseman number 27, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
First at bat of the season for Vladdy, as always, acknowledging the home plate umpire, the opposing catcher, and the opposing dugout.
And now he's going to try to wear you out.
Yeah. That line of his, last year was the trailer. This year you will see the movie. That's got a chance to live a long time if the Blue Jays have the kind of season they're hoping to have. And he gets jammed, bounces one down to Ibanez at third, and it's a foul ball. Foul ball that hit his leg on the way down to third. So 0-1 on Guerrero.
Gray's got a lot of movement on that fastball, and that ball came inside. I thought he topped it right down into his leg. Watch the ball go straight down and look like it hit above that shin guard. It's always the case, isn't it? You wear a shin guard and it'll find someplace that's not protected.
Well, you can see from John Gray's stuff, and pitching for the Rockies is tough sledding, and that's what he did for his entire career before coming to Texas. But this is really good stuff. I mean, a hard fastball, good movement on the 2-seamer, sharp slider, strikeout pitch for him. There's the slider there, but it's down and away, 2-1.
Gray was the 3rd overall pick in his draft out of Oklahoma. He was a terrific college pitcher, 2013, 3rd pick overall, and he's been a good pitcher for a while. And as we mentioned, he actually pitched better on the road at home than he did on the road, which is unusual in Colorado.
Sharply but foul down the left field line, 2-2. Guerrero, again, we need to remember, just 23 years of age. Last year with age 22, the youngest ever winner with a Hank Aaron Award for the best hitter in his league. And hopefully he doesn't feel the need to try to do more, to chase numbers. Just go out there and try to build on what he did last year. Ibanez in time, and the Blue Jays go in order. So through an inning at a Rogers Center here on opening night, the Rangers with a 4-0 lead. The Blue Jays were hoping for on opening night, but big picture, obviously a lot of excitement about this team. And it's not just in Toronto. It's not just in Canada. It's all over the place. These are the power rankings from entities such as MLB.com, The Athletic. You can look anywhere you want, and a lot of people are picking this team to do some big things this year. Now, Buck, they lost the Cy Young Award winner. They lost an MVP candidate in Marcus Semien. Obviously, some really good replacements in Kevin Gausman and Matt Chapman. As Taylor Saucedo returns to the mound, Brad Miller grounds out down to first. As you look at this team, though, coming into the year, for them to be as good as they need to be, as they want to be, what do they have to do well? What has to be better this year than it was last year?
The consistency of their starting rotation, and it's a deep 5-man rotation with a variety of arms. They have to convert the plays when they have a chance, and they didn't do that in the first inning. Had a couple of double play balls that they didn't convert. But the defense and the pitching has to be in sync all season long. We know they're going to hit and score runs.
I tell you, Taylor Saucedo's efficiency is excellent here in the second inning so far.
Yeah, I like this guy. I think we saw enough of him last year to recognize his pitches are high quality. And he's a starter by his background, so he has a wide assortment of pitches. And he gained a lot of confidence, and I think he made the team against the Yankees down in spring training in a night game when he faced the A team. And he overmatched him. He only had one walk in the spring, and he's got wicked stuff, and he's tough to pick up.
2 pitches, 2 outs here in the second inning. And facing Corey Seager, who swings at the first pitch more than anybody in baseball historically, but he takes one low, ball 1. Saucedo, one of 2 lefties in the bullpen at the outset of the season, along with Tim Meza, of course. Lined up the alley in right center field. It's down and past Teoscar Hernandez to the fence, and that'll be a 2-out double for Seager.
I'll give you an idea what a good player that Seager is. Last year, Saucedo allowed just 5 hits to lefty hitters. There were 5 for 36 against him. And Seager, he's one of the best players in baseball. That's a pitch down on the outer half. And watch how it goes down and stays on it. His bat stays in the zone a long time, and he drills it up the alley all the way up against the fence in right center.
So he's 2 for 2 in his first game with his new team.
Money well spent.
Early return on investment is pretty good for the Rangers. Here's Mitch Garver. He walked and scored in the first. Silver Slugger back in 2019 with the Twins, hit 31 homers. You know, back to Saucedo, one thing we don't know, and I agree with you about Saucedo in the spring in the game against the Yankees. Had Ryan Borucki not kind of slipped and stumbled a little bit on the mound, I think it was in Bradenton, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yeah, hammy.
And a minor hamstring injury, so he opens up on the IL. Would all 3 lefties have been on the team, or is Saucedo here because Borucki's on the IL? Borucki's out of options too, so that's, you know, perhaps another factor. Garver with a fly ball left field. Gurriel turns and he'll watch it go. The Rangers add to their lead. It is 6-0.
Well, Mitch Garver has the Twins record for home runs by a catcher. He hit 31 home runs a couple of years ago, and he's been battling injuries the last couple of years, but he loves to hit the fastball. And it looked like he got a good fastball to hit there, and this is part of the improved offense that Texas put together in the offseason. And that is a 2-seam fastball out over the plate, and Garver, he's got good power. He loves to hit the fastball, and he knew it was gone the moment he touched it. A distinct crack of the bat tells everybody in the ballpark that he squared it up.
Boy, a festive atmosphere coming into this game tonight. Obviously, opening night for the Blue Jays for the first time really in 3 years. A great pregame ceremony. And the Rangers have come to spoil the party. Nathaniel Lowe takes a strike, and it's 1-1. 18 home runs, 264. A year ago, hits to the opposite field a lot. Takes a lot of walks, sees a lot of pitches. And the bullpen, Buck, is busy again.
Yeah, Trent Thornton, he made this team and had a pretty good spring, and he's trimmed down his pitch arsenal. really focusing on 3 pitches this season, and I think he's going to be effective working out of that bullpen. Not exactly the script that Pete Walker had drawn up to start this season, for sure.
And again, expanded rosters because the lockout shortened spring training. MLB and the Players Association agreed on 28-man rosters through April. So you've got 10 relievers down there, a 15-man pitching staff for the Blue Jays. Fly ball to right. Loeb and the Rangers retired, but not before Saucedo surrenders a home run to Garver, and it is 6-0 Rangers. Lead off the bottom of the second for the Blue Jays, coming off a great year a year ago. 32 home runs, drove in 116. His numbers the last 2 years remarkably similar to those that Jose Bautista put up over his career for the Blue Jays, and really ever since Teoscar came back for the minors in 2019. Seems like longer ago than that, but in 2019 he has been an all-star caliber performer for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, his career is kind of mimicked that of Jose Bautista, and Jose certainly became one of the best sluggers in franchise history. I mean, he hit 54 home runs back in 2010, but Teoscar has just incredibly gotten better and better and better with each year, much like Bautista did.
Silver Slugger Award winner each of the last 2 years, one of just 5 in baseball to win that award, both last year and in the abbreviated 2020 season, and the other names on the list are pretty impressive. (0-2). Yeah, he went around 0-2 on Teoscar. Salvador Perez, catcher for the Royals. Freddie Freeman, Fernando Tatis Jr., Juan Soto, and Teoscar Hernandez are the only 5 players to win a Silver Slugger each of the last 2 years.
That's a pretty impressive list. And what's really impressive are the young players. You mentioned Soto and Tatis Jr. just getting their careers underway.
Well, Gray is making some pitches. Fastballs running in on their hands, slider down and away. 8 right-handed batters, and then Kevin Biggio in the 9 spot for the Blue Jays here on opening night. It would be a tough competition as to who had the biggest smile on their face during pregame introductions. Charlie Montoyo would be in the conversation, but I think Teoscar Hernandez would be the winner.
Yeah, they were all very excited to be here and start the season here at home. And believe me, it's a little bit disappointing to fall behind so early, but they're in the second inning. A lot of baseball to be played. The Texas Rangers, they didn't get their pitchers stretched out very deeply down in spring training, so we're going to see a few Ranger pitchers in this game as well.
And there's the slider to get him for out number 1.
A couple of strikeouts for Gray already, both coming on the slider. He got Springer to start the game, and this is a very tight slider. And watch the spin. You can see there's a red dot in the back end of that baseball. The hitters see the same spot on the other side, and it's tough to pick up when it's so tight because you don't see a lot of seams.
So a good start for Chris Woodward's Texas Rangers. He is so optimistic about where the team is headed now in his 4th season as Texas manager. Here's Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Early on in the season, the 5 spot belongs to him. Lourdes, of course, finished very strong. Last couple of months in general were very good. Went on an RBI tear in September. I think the question for him, and maybe it's fair or not, you know, those great 2 months, could he do that for 4, 5, 6 months? Could he take his peak to a new level of consistency? And let's see where the numbers might be if that is the case.
Well, he's made some very subtle adjustments that really played well for him in the second half. As you mentioned, he backed off the plate a little bit, and that last pitch is a good example of what that's done for him. By backing off the plate, that pitch is so far away he doesn't swing at it. The hitting coaches were very pleased to see him continue to have that same approach in spring training. He has just moved back ever so slightly, but when you're back away from the plate, that ball down and away that he used to chase looks too far away now.
Like that.
Like that.
2 years ago or even early last year, he's out on that pitch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's just such a great suggestion from the hitting coaches that really allowed him to have a great second half.
Boy, a tricky hop for the charging Ibanez. He makes a good play, 2 down.
Delicious is on deck. On now, get $5 off your order of $15 or more with promo code 5BALLGAME. Only on DoorDash. Dash that.
5 up, 5 down for John Gray in his Texas debut. A 6-0 lead early for the Rangers here in the second inning at Rogers Center. And the DH on opening night is Alejandro Kirk. The Blue Jays currently have 3 catchers on the roster. The recently acquired Zach Collins is on the roster as well, and that allows Kirk to DH more. And I think this will be one of the interesting storylines, Buck, early in the season. How much does he catch, and how much does he DH when he's not catching?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, and he's in the opening day lineup as the DH. The Blue Jays love his bat. They think he's got tremendous bat-to-ball skills. He doesn't strike out much. He puts the bat on the ball. You can't really teach that. Just 22 strikeouts on 19 walks last year, albeit in limited at bats, but he knows how to hit.
DH spot figures to be a bit of a rotation. You'll see Springer in there at times, Guerrero in there at times. Tapia can play left field. Gurriel will DH at times. So I think a number of different guys will be in the DH spot to give them a partial day off. But in Kirk's case, it's not to give him a partial day off. It's to get that bat into the lineup.
Right. Another good example of his ability to put the bat on the ball and stay alive. They're working him upstairs, and obviously last couple of years that's been a bread and butter pitch for a lot of pitchers. And what we're going to see more and more of this season is pitchers are throwing high sliders now, where it's a flat slider that goes horizontally, doesn't break down, and it used to be called a hanging slider. It's not the case. It's by design now. There it is, that flat cut slider that goes away for the strikeout.
And what a good start for Gray. 6 up and 6 down through 2, all Rangers in the early going. Hello Kitty Day at Rogers Center on Saturday, April 16th, a week from tomorrow. By purchasing a specialty ticket, fans will guarantee themselves a Hello Kitty bobblehead giveaway. Quantities are limited. Visit BlueJays.com/specialty tickets today. Third inning, third pitcher. All ready for the Blue Jays, right-hander Trent Thornton.
Trent Thornton, last year in 37 games, he had an ERA at 4.71. He had pretty good control, just 16 walks against 52 strikeouts and 49 2/3. Trent can always spin the ball. He's always had a great curveball, and now they've kind of refined a slider, and he's going to rely a lot on his slider right there, and that's a good example of what it can do for him.
Adolis Garcia leads it off, reached on a fielder's choice back in the first. 6-0 Rangers. Home runs for Brad Miller and Mitch Garver. Back in 2019, Trent Thornton led the Blue Jays in starts and innings. He is in a different role now. His role right now is to be a multi-inning reliever. And truthfully, had Nate Pearson not struggled a bit in the spring and then come down with mono, you know, I don't know if Thornton's on the team. Pearson probably would be here, and who knows if Thornton would have been the odd man out. So, like a Saucedo, you get an opportunity and you hope to make the most of it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? It's a chance, and now he's got an opportunity to establish himself in the big leagues. And obviously, the Blue Jays are going to go with whoever's getting them outs. There's that slider again, and he's kind of pumped up. Again, this is not unusual. First game of the season, everybody's got the adrenaline flowing, and Trent's overthrowing that slider a little bit right now. He's getting a lot of break on it, but he hasn't been able to throw it over.
Fastball fouled off, a full count. It feels like this season, with starters not stretched out, guys who can come in out of the bullpen and give you 2 innings, maybe even a little bit more than that, are going to be extremely valuable to save the high leverage relievers for another night. And already those three guys have some decisions to make going forward that they didn't anticipate having to make as Garcia draws a leadoff walk.
It's the third walk of the game already for the Texas Rangers, as Berrios walked a couple in the first inning, and it was something the Blue Jays have really been focused on going back to last year. They want to really be aggressive in the strike zone, and Trent Thornton, he's had good command, but right there, that one got away from him to start this inning.
So now Cole Calhoun up for the second time, hit by a pitch back in the first inning. Shift on for the Blue Jays, 3 to the right of second base. And he has popped it up. Bichette gives way. Gurriel charging in almost to the edge of the infield dirt to make the catch. One down.
Yeah, Gurriel is getting better defensively in the outfield, and right there he did exactly what you want from your outfielders. He took charge. He had a good beat on it. Bo was going out away from the infield, and it's much easier play for an outfielder coming in, and he did go a long way, but he was able to make an easy play of it.
So one down for Andy Ibanez, the third baseman. Fielder's choice RBI for him back in the 4-run first for the Rangers, as Thornton starts him with a strike.
As we mentioned early in this game, the Blue Jays are really exaggerating their shift to everybody in this Rangers lineup. And here's another example of it. Right on right, pitcher, hitter, and 3 defenders on the left side of the infield once again. Rivera is in charge of the defense, and he will have the freedom to deviate from the pregame defensive setup, and he will look at his infielders on every play and factor in his pitcher, how he's throwing, how his fastball looks, and make subtle moves to the defense.
Wow, Thornton just airmailed a pickoff attempt at first. And up to second on the play goes Garcia. That'll be an error charged to Thornton.
Yeah, Blue Jays certainly haven't had a very clean start to this game, and you can see that wasn't even close. He just turned around and almost threw it toward the first base coach. He was closer than Vladdy was to that throw.
And now with a runner at second, Danny Jansen out for a quick conversation with Thornton. Not the kind of start Charlie Montoyo and Pete Walker were hoping to see from their pitching staff tonight. Blocked by Jansen. Blue Jays, as we alluded to a little bit earlier, have 10 games in as many days before they get their first off day, and then they play 20 in a row after that. 30 games in the first 31 days of the season, including a whole bunch of them against either the Yankees, the Red Sox, or the Astros. It's a challenging beginning of the year from a schedule point of view. But obviously, the harder it is early, theoretically, the easier it should be later. More off days and a bit of an easier schedule. But this is going to be a bit of a rugged 5 weeks or so for the Blue Jays to start the year.
Yeah, they've got a 3-game series against the Red Sox in Boston, and then 4 games against Boston right around the next week after a trip to Houston. So it is a tough start to the season.
Big cut found it off the mask of Jansen. He says he's okay. Got asked by the home plate umpire Bill Welke, all right. Danny nodded.
Right off the shoulder, and an added shoulder pad that's very flexible and flaps over both shoulders now, a benefit.
(3-2). Right center field, Springer and Teoscar there, and it'll be Springer to make the catch. Runner is tagging. Garcia on his way to third and in there in a headfirst slide.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting, and Springer kind of looked like he didn't anticipate the guy to tag, but Garcia's got good speed, and he called off Teoscar. Teoscar was calling for it, And watch Springer. It looks like there's just a little bit of a hesitation after he catches it. Well, obviously they slowed it down so you couldn't really see it in live speed, but good speed by Garcia as he moves over. Teoscar had a good angle, but Springer's got priority in center field.
So 2 down, a runner at third for Willie Calhoun. Takes a close pitch in for ball 1. The Rangers, although they are expected to be better with the acquisitions of Corey Seager, Marcus Semien from the outside, not expected to be contenders, but don't tell Chris Woodward that. In the air to left. Gurriel there, and nothing across for the Rangers here in the third. It is 6-0 Texas, with Matt Chapman about to get his first at bat as a Blue Jay.
Here in the home half of the third inning. And among the first to reach out to Chapman once news of his trade to Toronto broke, former Athletics teammate Marcus Semien. Semien's text to Chapman simply read, quote, "Call me." And it wouldn't be the first time the pair spoke of the Blue Jays or of Toronto. Talking to him last year, Chapman told me, Marcus said how much he enjoyed being here, and all the facilities were off the charts. Now, once the two finally connected, Semien gave what Chapman described as a rundown on what to expect from an organizational standpoint to living and playing in Canada. He gave me as much of an update as he could, told me I'm going to love the guys, and you know what, Chapman concluded, I can tell he's already right. Dan?
Thank you, Hazel. So a little advance info there for Matt Chapman. Of course, had some good years together with Oakland. Semien leaving Toronto for Texas. Chapman arriving in the trade to play third base.
Yeah, and one thing they have in common is they're both terrific character guys. It's just unbelievable how they are so professional. They handle everything so well, and they are a perfect fit. Semien last year, Chapman this year.
Tremendous defender, of course, at third base. Biggio and Espinal now moving over to share second base this year. First pitch swinging, and he has popped it up into foul territory for Lowe, the first baseman, and that first at bat for Chapman ends quickly.
7 straight retired by John Gray to start this ball game. Lowe had plenty of room over there in foul ground, and Chapman had a good cutout. It just got underneath it. Gray is really off to a great start in his Rangers career. Quality pitches, a lot of movement on his fastball, tight, hard slider, and a kind of a flat cut slider that runs flat away from the right-handed hitters.
Danny Jansen hitting in the 8th spot. And a fastball down the middle for a strike. Jansen last year, 223, 11 homers. Twice on the IL with a hamstring injury, and when he came back the second time, really took off. Hit .310 with 5 homers in his last 19 games of the season. There's the slider again, and it's 0-2, and Jansen hoping to build on last September into this year.
Yeah, and Danny really swung the bat well at the end of the year, but those hamstring injuries kind of really took him out of action for a long time. He came back and re-injured the hamstring initially, running the bases both times.
And again, how the catching time is split up. I think Jansen will probably catch most of the time. You will see Kirk behind the plate, and at least for now there is a third catcher on the roster in Zach Collins. And of course the organization's top prospect is a catcher, Gabriel Moreno, who is beginning his year at AAA. Charlie Montoya was asked about personal catchers, and he doesn't want to commit to too much of that, I think, with the exception, Buck, of Jansen catching Hyun-Jin Ryu whenever possible.
Yeah, Ryu's kind of challenging for catchers because he's working quickly and has so many different options he can utilize, and Danny handles him very well. They have very good rapport together.
I would think we might see, if Jansen's going to catch Ryu Sunday, we might see Kirk in there catching tomorrow with Kevin Gausman, who's going to make his Blue Jay debut, the big pickup in the offseason.
Yeah, I would think that's right. Kirk will probably catch tomorrow, and Gausman will get his opportunity to start.
And a bouncer through the vacated right side. The first base hit of the year for the Blue Jays belongs to Danny Jansen.
One thing that we have seen up and down this batting order is these Blue Jay hitters, they're not afraid to go the other way, especially with 2 strikes. They'll shorten up, put the ball in play, and Danny just bounces one through the right side. That snaps a streak of 7 in a row, retired by John Gray. I mean, you make a pitch as a pitcher, you get a weak ground ball, and you turn around, there's nobody there to make a play. That can be disheartening. And it's interesting, but I think we're going to see defenses play it a little more straight up as the season goes on, especially against this Blue Jays team.
Number 9 hitter tonight, Cavan Biggio, getting the start at second base. Injury-plagued year a season ago for Biggio, 3 different times on the IL. Hit .224, 7 homers, a .678 OPS. Healthy coming into this year, and back at his most natural defensive position as well, which can never hurt. What do you expect from Biggio this year? You know, the first couple of years very productive. Last year kind of a tough year for him.
Yeah, I think he just never really got comfortable last year. Starting at third base, he got dinged up on an outfield throw in spring training. And I think very, very subconsciously he felt like he had to hit like a third baseman. And I think that got him out of sorts, away from his strengths. I expect him to bounce back and have a good season.
He's talked about wanting to get back to where he was the first 2 years, as Matt Chapman's on the iPad looking at that at bat. Biggio, his first couple of years, walked in about 16% of his plate appearances. Last year it was down to 12. Still good, but not at the elite level where he was the first couple of years. And again, is one of the few left-handed bats on the roster. You know, if he does well, he'll get all kinds of playing time, you would think. But Santiago Espinal proved last year that he can be a very valuable player. So this is a pretty good situation for the Blue Jays to have.
It's a very good situation, and Espinal had a good spring. He put on some muscle. The ball's jumping off his bat a little bit more. He's a very good fielder. Can play any of the infield positions. And I think he's going to get an opportunity to show what he can contribute to this offense.
Count is full.
But I think more than anything, Cavan is healthy this year, and I just think he's on the verge of rebuilding the confidence we saw from him in his first season.
And if he can do well and have a good on-base percentage down at the bottom of the order in front of the big guys at the top, that never hurts. 3-2.
You know, Dan, anytime you have a championship season, whether you win a division or play in the postseason or win a World Series, generally it's not 26 guys that contribute. It's 35 to 40 guys, and everybody's going to have an opportunity to make a contribution this season. And the Blue Jays have more depth, not only in the major leagues, but down in AAA and even as far down as AA. They've got a lot more depth than they've had recently.
Down 6-0, trying to get something going here in the third. And that is going to be a double play. That will end the inning, and at the end of 3, still 6-0 Rangers.
Light show in the pregame ceremonies. You no doubt enjoyed the new Rogers Center video board. The former version was the oldest in the majors and has now been replaced by this over 8,000 square foot version. It's 14 feet taller, 2.5 times the resolution of the old one, which was installed back in 2005. And you'll notice a pair of new ribbons on either side of the main screen, wrapping around the 300 level, almost encompassing the entire lower bowl. Now, they took all the real estate they could possibly take without affecting the hotel rooms. The video board, Dan and Buck, is now the 10th largest in Major League Baseball.
It is impressive. It is noticeable. You couldn't take your eyes off it during the pregame ceremony, and some changes in the lighting as well. There are more changes coming for this ballpark after this season and after next season, but these are, I think, the most noticeable ones here for 2022.
Yeah, and you use the right word, Dan. They're trying to make it a ballpark. They're trying to make it purely a baseball park and a great experience for the fans. And the front office, the organization has done a terrific job of trying to retrofit this stadium.
6-0 Texas, top 4. And Brad Miller looks at a strike from Trent Thornton. Miller got it all started with a leadoff home run for the Rangers. Set the tone early, taking Jose Barrios deep. He's also grounded out. Can play all over the field. And a left-handed batter who plays almost exclusively against righties. He was with the Phillies last year, signed as a free agent.
Started his career in Seattle. He's played with the Rays. That's where most Blue Jay fans will remember him, being part of the Rays team. 16, 17, and 18.
Curveball from Thornton misses low, but it's 2 balls and a strike. Jose Barrios, if you're late joining us, went just a third of an inning tonight. Just didn't have it. He gave up 4 runs earned, 3 hits, 2 walks, hit a batter. Taylor Saucedo went an inning and 2/3, gave up a couple of runs on the Garver home run. And this is the 2nd inning of work for Trent Thornton.
Yeah, and you'd certainly like Thornton to at least get through this inning and maybe even a third. Pete Walker, in his mind, is playing out how he can finish this game. The way it stands there down by 6. Just thinking about, okay, what do I have to do? I got Gausman going tomorrow. I want to make sure I got fresh arms to back him up tomorrow. And that's what a pitching coach does early in a game. Thinks about what's next to finish this game and what he's got left for tomorrow. Gausman will make his debut. That's Zach Collins next to him, the new catcher that was acquired from the Chicago White Sox.
Miller has popped it up near the 3rd baseline, and coming over to make the play, Matt Chapman, 1 down. Nice pregame moments for Marcus Semien, who went out on the field and received his Silver Slugger Award and his Gold Glove Award from last year. Nice touch by the Blue Jays to honor Semien. Along with Teoscar Hernandez and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. picking up some hardware. And we understand that Matt Chapman, who won a Gold Glove last year as a member of the A's, will receive that award next weekend when Oakland is in town. So a nice touch there.
That's pretty cool. And he's got a couple of Gold Gloves, a couple of Platinum Gloves, a terrific defender.
I hope he's got a big mantle at home, because he's got 3 golds and 2 platinums. He's got a full house already. Yeah. He's only 28 years old.
Now, he's one of those guys that you go into the season thinking, well, this Chapman going to win another Gold Glove, and he's really got to mess up to not win it. He is so good, great range, terrific arm, and tonight he had a little bit of a bobble early in the game.
3-time Gold Glove Award winner. For those who don't know what a Platinum Glove is, that is awarded to the best defender in the league at any position. So an American leaguer and a National leaguer each win a Platinum Glove each year. Chapman's won a couple of them. Nolan Arenado has won 2 or 3 of them, I think, over on the National League side.
And what Chapman does that's so unusual is he plays so deep at third base. You know, oftentimes a third baseman, especially with a power hitter like Marcus Semien, will be 10, 15 feet behind the bag at third. He's almost at the edge of the grass.
Driven to left field. Gurriel started back, puts the brakes on, and makes the catch. Semien retired, 2 down.
Yeah, Trent Thornton's done a good job so far, as he is now retired 5 in a row after walking the first man he faced. These are important innings.
Yeah.
When you fall behind, just to be able to put up some zeros and keep the rest of your bullpen mates down there in the bullpen. Don't want to go too deep into your bullpen in game 1 of a series.
And one thing I wonder about, Ross Stripling is kind of in a unique spot in the bullpen. He is really stretched out. Like, he's stretched out to the point where he could start. And the Blue Jays have hinted at times about a 6-man rotation here and there to give Ryu, among others, you know, an extra day. We talked about 30 games in 31 days. So I don't think they want to use Stripling tonight. They probably already have a plan about when he will pitch. Maybe they'll sneak him in for a start second time through. Obviously, we're not privy to that information, but Stripling's going to be a very important guy in the early weeks for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, because he's so versatile, as you mentioned. You know, he can bridge innings, come in one inning and finish the next. He can go 3 innings out of the pen. Can make an occasional start. You got to have 1, maybe 2 of those guys down in your pen. Of course, he has starter background for sure.
And these are the discussions that are going on down in the dugout, and now Pete Walker's on the phone, so somebody's getting up just in case Thornton throws too many pitches here. He walks Seager. The MLB Ballpark app will complete your next visit to Rogers Center to see the Blue Jays. Buy and manage game tickets, unlock offers, access exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. If you notice everybody's wearing the same hat at the ballpark, that's because everybody had one waiting for them on their seat here on opening night. Seager at first, 2 down, 6-0 Rangers, and here's Garver. A walk and a homer. And a slider for a strike. Good run on that fastball. 0-2. Bullpen is up, and it is the guy we were just talking about, Ross Stripling. So it looks like the decision's been made, or at least potentially, that he might pitch in this game tonight.
Yeah, and I think if you get him up, you're going to hope he can give you 3 innings at this point, especially since you're still down 6-0.
To center field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Garver, like Seager, has now been on base in all 3 plate appearances tonight.
It's interesting because the Texas Rangers the last 2 seasons have had an on-base percentage under 300 as a team. The combined 2 seasons, that's a hanging breaking ball. It jams him a bit, but he's so strong he can flare it over the infield and dump it in front of George Springer for his 2nd hit of the ball game.
Now the first baseman, Nathaniel Lowe, the former Tampa Bay Ray, an RBI single in the first, fly ball to right in the second. And he lines one the other way, a base hit. Seager getting the wave around third. Gurriel's throw over the plate to the backstop. The run scores, the runners advance, and it is 7-0.
Well, the Blue Jays have certainly had a rough start defensively to their season. They've had a couple of bobbles back in the first inning. Gurriel, who has always been a very accurate thrower from left field, airmails everything at home plate. 4-seam fastball upstairs. Lowe stays on it and drives it into left field. Gurriel gets to it pretty quickly. But then when he unloads the throw, you can see the runner had just touched third. He's got an opportunity to throw him out, but he throws it way over Danny Jansen's head.
So an RBI single for Lowe. I don't think they assessed an error. I think it's just the runners advance on the throw home. Either way, 2nd and 3rd with 2 down for Adolis Garcia. Seven runs on 7 hits now for the Rangers. No runs on just 1 hit for the Blue Jays. And a 2-0 count. Thornton looks like on a number of occasions, Buck, he's kind of fallen off even more drastically than normal to the side, looking down at his landing spot behind him.
Just like he's not really in rhythm yet. You know, he hasn't been able to make consistently good pitches. You throw a good one and then miss badly with the next one.
Fastball there, 2-1. But again, you'd love to get him through this inning so it's one less up and down for Ross Stripling, who might be needed for extended work tonight. A towering fly ball to left center. And the ballpark will hold it. The side is retired, but another run for the Rangers. Center, Dan Schulman, Buck Martinez, Hazel May, glad you are with us. We'll hear from Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddall shortly. There at the ballpark as well. Not the kind of start, to say the least, the Jays were hoping for. They're down 7 to the Rangers in the bottom of the 4th here in the first game of the season. And John Gray in his Rangers debut has been terrific thus far for Texas.
Well, he sure has, and he's had good velocity. He's been up to 97 miles an hour. He's had a very good sinking fastball and a very good breaking ball. On the hit, Danny Jansen's bouncing ground ball through the right side of the infield.
Top of the order, George Springer, Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Springer struck out his first time up tonight. Chases an inside fastball quickly in the hole at 0-2. Looks like an uncomfortable at bat against a guy like Gray. Big guy, everything moves, everything's hard, and mixing the ball inside with the fastball, away with the slider. Hooked down the left field line, but foul.
That'll get the fans' attention. George got out in front of that pitch. Looked like it was a high cutter that he turns on it and just got out in front just a tad. He hooks it down the left field line and had great sound, but you can see it hooks foul. Misses that foul netting down the left field line by a couple of feet.
One-two. Ran it in on him again. 2-2.
That's a nasty pitch right there. Good movement, 95 miles an hour. It starts out over the plate and breaks inside. It's a pitch that Springer swung at earlier in this at bat.
See Springer a lot of damage against the Rangers. That's obviously because of the number of games he had against them while with Houston. Like a changeup there, Buck, up and in. 3-2.
You know, same type of movement in toward the right-handed hitters, but just 86 miles an hour.
And Springer aboard. The 2022 Blue Jay season streams on Sportsnet now. Live stream games, Blue Jay Central highlights, and more. Stream on any device. Sign up now and pay just $10 a month on an annual pass and never miss a moment of Blue Jays action. First walk surrendered tonight by Gray. And now Bo Bichette grounded out in his first at bat tonight. Bichette, as we mentioned, his first full year in the big leagues last year. Same for Guerrero. They came up, remember, midway through the 2019 season. 2020 obviously a shortened season, just 60 games. Bo, the kind of guy he wants to play every day, and just about did it last year. Led the American League in hits with 191, had 60 extra base hits, And he's got his first knock of the season. Springer around second, cruising into third.
Well, Bo had such a great year last year, and in his own words, he said, I never really felt great at the plate. He still drove in 100 and scored 100. He had 298. He hits a tough pitch right here. That's a changeup, and hits it right off the end of the bat. May have been more of a cutter, but it didn't have much movement down and away. But it shatters his bat, and he'll take it. His first hit of the season. And Springer breezes around second, goes to third, and this is what the Blue Jays can do. They get a look at the pitcher, get guys on base. Springer takes the walk, and all of a sudden you got Vladdy up with runners at the corners and nobody out.
And let's see if he can drive in the first run of the season for the Blue Jays. Grounded out in his first at bat. Crowd getting back into it after being subdued with the Rangers pulling out to a big early lead, a 7-0 lead, 4 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 more in the fourth. Blue Jays threatening now here, bottom 4. And there's a base hit to right to drive in a run. Springer in to score. Bichette stops at second, 7-1.
This is the reason that Vladdy Guerrero is going to be a terrific run producer. He knows his team is down by 7 runs and still not thinking about a dramatic 3-run home run. Get a base hit. We got a great lineup. Keep the line moving. He goes the other way, picks up an RBI, and gets his first hit of the season. And this is another tough pitch, but he stays balanced, stays on the ball, and drives it the other way to cash in Springer.
And still nobody out here in the 4th inning. Teoscar Hernandez. And takes away at the knees for ball 1.
This is the beauty of this Blue Jays lineup. You get a hit, you get a broken bat single, an RBI, then somebody busts one. Then all of a sudden, you're right back in the game.
And it's 2-0. Gray coming out of his delivery a little bit there.
Guillermo Martinez talking with Chapman, and Guillermo does a great job of preparing these guys for the pitcher they're going to face on a given night.
Getting noisier here at the Rogers Center. 3-0 on Hernandez. Rally caps going early. Never too early to break out a rally cap. And it looked like Teoscar was taken all the way. 3-1. First and second, nobody out, and a run in. And ball 4 to load him up. Bullpen going now for the Rangers. And Josh Sborz getting ready with some urgency.
Rethink color with Beauty Tone, the official paint of the Toronto Blue Jays. Only available at Home Hardware.
Welcome back. Opening night here in Toronto. A night long awaited for Blue Jays fans. A sellout crowd here at the ballpark, and a little excitement with the Blue Jays scoring a run and loading the bases, Buck, with nobody out here in the 4th inning.
Yeah, and it's a Blue Jays rally that features a couple of soft base hits and a couple of walks, and now you've got your best RBI guy percentages in Gurriel. Last year he led the American League with a 367 average, 368 average with runners in scoring position, and now he's got the bases loaded. He hit 3 first pitch home run grand slams last year, 3 on the first pitch.
Gray had pinpoint command the first 3 innings, and that has not been the case at all here in the 4th. It started with a Springer walk. Bichette a single. Guerrero an RBI single. Hernandez walked to load him up. And a good take. 2 balls, no strikes. Well, Buck, we are told the Blue Jays have never had a grand slam on opening day or opening night. Good time to break that streak.
They got the right guy at the plate.
Yep. Three balls, no strikes. Alejandro Kirk on deck. And on the corner, 3-1. That's okay. That's borderline pitch. That's not the one you want to swing at, 3-0.
Not at all. And it was a good take. Force him back over to the sweet spot.
Now to play in a full count. A run in for the Blue Jays, nobody out, and the bases are loaded. Bo Bichette is the runner at third. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who drove in the first run of the year for the Blue Jays, is at second. Teoscar Hernandez at first. And Lourdes Gurriel Jr. trying to make this one a lot more interesting here in the 4th inning. There's a long way to go in this one. Guerrero trying to encourage Gurriel, clapping his hands out at second. The 3-2 up the middle, backhanded stop Semien to Seager 1, and that's all. A fielder's choice and an RBI for Gurriel. Bichette in to score, and it is 7-2.
I just got to peck away, and the Blue Jays have done that with a couple of walks, a couple of singles, and a fielder's choice. Played him up the middle, and it gets right past the pitcher. Semien does a good job of keeping the ball on the infield. All they can get is the force at second, and Bo comes in to score the second run of the inning.
So first and third, 1 out, and here, if you're Alejandro Kirk, you talked about a good contact hitter, but you got to get the ball in the air. He's an automatic double play, basically, in a ball on the ground. You got to get this runner home from third with less than 2 outs. Easier said than done, but can he just keep the line moving here in the 4th inning? He sure can. Fly ball to left. This will be deep enough. Back goes Miller, tagging Guerrero. Easily comes in to score. Well done, Kirk. 7-3.
Oh, absolutely, and you don't have to get them all back in 1 inning. But after John Gray started the game, retiring the first 7 he faced, he gave up a hit to Danny Jansen, and then he just lost the command of the strike zone in this inning. 2 walks, 2 singles, a fielder's choice, and a sac fly, and the Blue Jays have put up a 3 spot, cutting into that deficit.
So 2 down. Gurriel, the runner at first, and now Matt Chapman, his second at bat. Popped up on the first pitch he saw in his first at bat an inning ago. Curveball outside, ball 1. Chapman, terrific years into both 2018 and 19. Big numbers, great defense. finished 7th in MVP balloting in 18, 6th in 19. A hip injury towards the end of the abbreviated 2020 season, had surgery. His first year beyond the surgery was last year. Didn't have his typical year offensively. Hit .210 with 27 homers, but I think just about everybody believes, Buck, that those aren't the numbers that you're going to see from Matt Chapman this year.
No, I agree with that, because Chapman never had a chance to build up the strength. He had the hip surgery in September. He was just recovering. He didn't have time to build himself up for the upcoming season, and he never got going. Now he's got a solid foundation underneath him.
Yeah, I think it's something that we take for granted sometimes. How often have you heard a player say to you, the best thing was I had a healthy offseason? And, you know, for fans and even us in the media who we don't see the team in the offseason, we walk into spring training and there he is. There's a guy. But, you know, if that guy had a healthy offseason, he might, we can't tell the difference, but he might be in a much better spot heading into the year than if he was recovering from something. And a swing and a miss. Chapman strikes out to end the inning, but the Blue Jays do score 3 and now trail 7-3 at the end of 4. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie and Joe. Junior Jays opening day returns on Sunday, April 17th. Artists, games, prizing, and more. Even run the bases just like the pros following the game. Visit BlueJays.com/tickets. Great opportunity for young Blue Jay fans, and there are a ton of them in the house tonight. A sellout here at Rogers Center. Those are sharp caps. I kind of like those caps. A little light blue and dark blue mixed in.
Little combination of everything there. The old panel hat and a blue color that they broke out of that uniform a couple years ago.
New pitcher Ross Stripling, the 4th pitcher of the night.
Yeah, Stripling, you mentioned it, Dan. He's a very important part of this bullpen and could be an occasional starter from time to time. Last year in 24 games, it's 101 innings, and you can see Stripling and Jansen communicating. They are using PitchCom, and Danny Jansen has a console on his left wrist, and now for some reason they're giving signals, but they look like they had planned to use the PitchCom. Ross Stripling put the hearing device in his hat at the start of this inning, but maybe it's not working.
Yeah, the signal Danny Jansen just gave made it seem like he's telling the dugout that Stripling can't hear him. Has he got it on his right knee right now?
Well, he sure does.
Yeah, so he's moved it around. So for people who have no idea what we're talking about, if they didn't see spring training games, this is something that is new in baseball this year. It is optional. It is pitcher by pitcher whether you want to use it. And instead of Danny Jansen putting down signals, if PitchCom is working, you can see he's got like a remote control there on his right knee. It's obviously, Stripling obviously can't hear him right now, and that's why they're not using it, but they wanted to use it. Little bouncer to Chapman, and what a good play. I mean, momentum taking him to the third baseline, and the throw is right on the money to first.
Yeah, you're going to watch this all season long. I don't know that I've ever seen a more accurate thrower at third base. And watch how quickly he turns his body and gets right over the top and throws a strike on the run to Vladdy. You know, the only guy in my memory that I can think came close as a Blue Jay was Scott Rowland. Scott Rowland had that same kind of arm, very true, very strong arm, and very accurate with it.
So the first of many good plays that Blue Jay fans will see this year. And still Jansen relaying signs. So we'll finish up the story on PitchCom. We'll try. They keep putting the ball in play. Guerrero down the line, foul territory. Good play by Vladdy. 2 down. And he is still having fun. He has talked about, and you and I both saw it in the spring, his weight, he might be a little bit down, but he just says he's redistributed. He feels faster. He feels great. He's running through stop signs. He's stealing bases. I mean, he's frisky out there to begin with, but he feels even better physically, he says, than he did a year ago.
He just turned 23 in March.
That's true.
I mean, he's still a baby in baseball parlance because he's not really gotten all of his man muscles yet. And when you think about the great hitters, and we talked about Vladdy being compared to Manny Ramirez and Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols, Frank Thomas, Manny Ramirez didn't really turn into a great hitter until he was 26. And Ramirez, from 26 to 34, may have been the best right-handed hitter in baseball. And Vladdy's just 23, so there's a lot of upside to his game.
Stripling last year had a really nice stretch in the middle of the season as a starting pitcher when the Blue Jays had a real void in the rotation, then suffered an injury, went on the IL. But again, it feels like it's going to kind of be a hybrid role, or whatever the team needs. If they need a starter, he's the guy. If they need a long reliever, he's the guy. And he got stretched out to 75 pitches in spring training. Bichette back in shallow center in a very neat and tidy 1-2-3 inning for Ross Stripling. Gets the Blue Jays right back up there.
Talked earlier about the Silver Slugger Awards handed to Teoscar Hernandez, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Marcus Semien as part of the pregame player presentations. Well, how about another awesome scene? The Hank Aaron Award was also presented to Guerrero, who was the best offensive player in the American League last season. The widow of Mr. Aaron, Billy Aaron, was escorted onto the field by manager Charlie Montoyo so she could personally congratulate Guerrero for his achievement. Just another lovely moment. Dan?
It really was. We knew that Guerrero was going to accept the award. We did not know, Buck, that Billy Aaron was in the ballpark to present the award to Guerrero, and that was good stuff.
It was very, very meaningful for Guerrero. I mean, he understands Hank Aaron. He certainly respects Hank Aaron's widow, Billy Aaron, and you know, it's kind of like Rachel Robinson, you know, Jackie Robinson's wife. I mean, it's baseball royalty for sure, and she was so kind to come up here and present the award to Vladdy Guerrero Jr.
Blue Jays have gotten back into this one to a certain extent. They are down 7-3 going to the bottom of the fifth in front of a sellout here at Rogers Center, and Chris Woodward has gone to his bullpen for a left-hander. John King takes over after 4 innings for John Gray.
Now, and they had Josh Spores, a right-hander, up, but they have switched gears now, and they bring John King in, sinker changeup. He's got a very good sinking fastball, and there it is right there. King's 27 years old, 10th round pick in 2017, and he's had his share of injuries. He's had the thoracic outlet syndrome, where they take a rib out to improve the circulation in your pitching shoulder.
Change up, misses outside, a ball and a strike. Lucas Gurriel Jr. is driven in a run tonight. He's chatting with Jose Barrios, who did not get out of the first inning tonight. Change up again and a roller down to third. Ibanez with a good play, 1 down. And we talked about PitchCom again, this system where the catcher on what looks like a game console or a remote control can put the pitches in, and the pitcher has a receiver. That's it, a receiver that is in his cap, and King is testing the receiver to see if he can hear what the catcher Garver is inputting, and it would, you hear in kind of a generic voice, change up away, fastball in, that sort of thing. For folks who do know, bear with us. For folks who don't know, the 2 reasons this is being done are to try to eliminate sign stealing, and it also, and I think everybody agrees that it does do this when it works well, is it speeds up the game. You have fewer visits to the mound. You have, you know, fewer times where the pitcher steps off or the catcher says, hey, let's start this again. It just moves quicker.
Yeah, it sure does. And Mitch Garver just presses a button on the inside of his left wrist, and that'll be changeup, that last pitch. And you can program anything into these monitors, into these consoles. You can program all the pickoff plays.
Right. You
can program step-offs, anything you want to do to control the running game. Plus, if you press it twice, you could say fastball away. 2 presses to the same button. But it's interesting. I like it.
You can see Santiago Espinal batting now. He is pinch hitting for Cavan Biggio with a left-hander in the game, so that's an early indication, not surprisingly, I guess, of how Charlie Montoyo might play or might divvy up the time between the two of them. I don't think it'll be a strict platoon per se, but oftentimes it will be. Down and away 2-2 to Espinal, who had a terrific year last year for the Blue Jays, playing mostly third base for obvious reasons. The Blue Jays needed some help over there, but he figures at least at the outset of the year to play mostly second base this year. He is a natural shortstop. One hopper in the hole. Seager sets his feet, bounces it across, and dug out nicely by Lowe. 2 down. The new era of sports betting has arrived. SN Bets is kicking things off with Wager Week. Follow SN Bets on Instagram and Twitter for all your betting entertainment, plus a chance to win exclusive gear and tickets all week. Cabby at the forefront of that for us here at Sportsnet. So 2 down for King. Back to the top of the order for George Springer. A strikeout and a walk.
That was kind of an interesting exchange as Mitch Garver, the catcher, shook his head to get the pitcher to shake before he ever offered a pitch on PitchCom. Against this guy, you really have to stay up the middle to the opposite field because he's going to throw everything away. It's going to be fastball changeup, and if you get too pull happy, he'll just hit you to hit weak ground balls on the left side of the infield, and that's the way they're playing Springer now defensively, playing him to pull.
And already a ground ball to third and a ground ball to short for the first 2 outs. One last thing on PitchCom. In addition to the pitcher, the catcher can also have a receiver in his helmet, so he can confirm to himself, yeah, I gave him the pitch that I think I gave. It's like emailing yourself when you send somebody else an email. Did that look like I thought it? Did that go where I needed it to go? But also 3 other fielders can wear it. It's always the second baseman and the shortstop, and then the team can choose. Is it the center fielder? Is it the third baseman? Like with a guy like King, it might be the third baseman rather than the center fielder because of the way that he pitches. But up to 5 defensive players can have a receiver in their cap as Springer draws his second walk of the night.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's endorsed by Major League Baseball. They sent it to all the teams in spring training. Some teams really bought into it, like the Rangers. Tampa Bay, of course, they're more innovative than anybody, and they really bought into it. Mike Zunino, their catcher, loves it. And I think it's going to be really something that all the pitchers get used to. Chris Woodward and Doug Mathis, they have 2 co-pitching coaches. Doug Mathis, a former pitching coach for Buffalo in 2019 for the Blue Jays.
Bo Bichette 1 for 2. Singleton scored last inning when the Blue Jays scored 3 times. Checking to make sure he didn't chip that bat. Boy, a guy like this can really prey on hitters who can get a little over anxious, and he's going to nibble. He's going to try to get, like you said, he's going to try to get you to chase down and away and roll over on the soft stuff.
I think it's a good backup to John Gray, who started and threw 97, 98 miles an hour with great movement. Then you get King in here with a sinking fastball. He's left-handed. The changeup runs away, and it's very difficult to make a quick adjustment if you're a right-handed hitter.
Lined into right, a base hit. Springer around second on his way to third, and in there on Bo Bichette's second hit of the night.
Bo led the majors last year with 58 multi-hit games, and he's got one under his belt already this season. The first one was a broken bat blooper to center, and this one was a bullet past the first baseman. Two-seam fastball. He stays on it, and you can see it was on the inner half instead of being down and away where King wanted it. And Bo just pounded it right past low at first base, and looks like Woodward is going to make a pitching change. Bo knocks him out of the game quickly.
2 on, 2 out, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. coming up. If you live baseball, you will love staying in the Budweiser Home of Homers this season. Apply now by scanning the QR code you see on your screen or visit Home of Homers CA. Buck, this is a chance to get a hotel room here overlooking the ballpark for a month. To watch all the baseball you want to watch for a month.
What are you going to do when they're on the road?
You're going to recover from
the other home games.
You're going to rev up for the next homestand.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's Josh Sborz. Blue Jays creeping back into it. Down 7-3 in the bottom of the 5th. First and third, 2 down for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vladdy grounded out in the first, had an RBI single in the 4th. Drove in 111 last year. Lined into right, a base hit. Springer in to score. Bichette up to second, another hit, another RBI for Guerrero, and it's 7-4.
Again, going the opposite way, and the Blue Jays are going to straighten out these shifts. There's no question about it. They're really buying into the fact that you use the whole field, and sooner or later, opposing defenses are going to have to make adjustments. This is a cement mixer slider up in the zone, and that is a backup. That didn't have much horizontal movement at all. Just kind of spun up there and said, hit me, and Vladdy obliged.
A really good stroke by Guerrero. Lines one the other way. The tying run is at the plate in a game in which the Blue Jays at one point trailed 7-0. Fouled back by Teoscar Hernandez.
At this pace, Vladdy will drive in 324 runs.
That's if he doesn't drive it anymore tonight. Got a long way to go, Mr. Martinez.
5th inning.
You don't have late dinner plans tonight or anything, do you?
I don't. I'll stay here as long as it takes.
Teoscar has struck out and walked. Upstairs at 98, a ball and a strike.
Man to man, you're seeing good at bats. Patient hitters, not chasing balls, making the pitcher come to them. Remember, Gray retired the first 7 in a row, and then the Blue Jays went to work, just pecking away.
Driven to right field. It's deep. It's gone. Chance, Buck, to break the jacket out this year.
A brand new jacket, and the guy that led the team in RBIs last year gets to wear it first. Teoscar Hernandez. Down down 7-0. Watch the approach. That fastball away, no doubt about it. Teoscar said, yep, I got that one. How about all the hits to right field?
I was just looking at that. They have 6 hits tonight. They haven't pulled one of them. 1 to center and 5 to right. Lourdes Gurriel grounds out. But how about this comeback? 3 in the 4th, 4 here in the 5th. And at the end of 5, it's a brand new ball game here at Rogers Center.
Bichette's book, he doesn't use a leg kick. He keeps that front foot grounded. He trusts his hands to get the balls, and he's confident that he can hit the ball out to right field as he did right there.
So on to the 6th in a tie game, 7-7, and the first appearance of the season for Julian Merryweather. After Ross Stripling goes a 3-up, 3-down 5th, Merryweather the 5th pitcher of the night, and he and Danny Jansen again, they're trying to get this PitchCom system going. I'm not sure if Merryweather can hear. We'll be able to tell if Jansen is flashing signs. Ground ball down to first, sharply hit but right at Guerrero. Brad Miller retired, 1 down. One other change for the Blue Jays as Santiago Espinal stays in the game at second after pinch hitting for Cavan Biggio. Do you know, Buck, this is the first time Santiago Espinal has played second base in the majors, because Marcus Semien, he hogged the position. He wouldn't let anybody else play last year, so this is the first time Espinal has played second.
Yeah, man, he's a very good fielder. You mentioned he's a natural shortstop, and he played very well at third base last year. He's got a lot of confidence at second now that he's worked at it, knowing he's going to split time with Cavan.
Yeah, and he played a lot of second base in the minors, played over 100 games there in the minors on the way up, so you know, it's not an issue at all. There's not a single person in the organization worried about Espinal at second base as he takes over after pinch hitting for Biggio. Meanwhile, Merryweather, and again this season, the stuff, the arm tantalizes you. Can he stay healthy? It was about a year ago at this time that he made a couple of appearances, as you well remember, Buck, against the Yankees, and just blew everybody away. And everybody got so excited about him. Then he suffered an oblique injury, and he didn't resurface again until September.
Yeah, he's got a great arm, and you hit the nail on the head. It's just a matter of staying healthy. Great fastball. He touched 100 last year against the Yankees in the season opening series in New York. Had a great changeup. He's intriguing for sure.
Gets a call on the outside corner against Semien. It's 2-2.
They're going to keep the ball away from Marcus. They know how tough it is to get a fastball by him on the inner half. They're going to stay away.
Well, he's challenged him consistently. 96, 97 on the fastball. At times we have seen Merryweather get to 98, maybe even 99 on occasion. There's no question again about the stuff, and you know, I think they want to be a little bit cautious with him and just make sure he is healthy. But there was no talk of any issues, any physical issues for him in the spring. A changeup hit a long way down the left field line, but foul.
Yeah, you better not throw Marcus a changeup in the strike zone. If you're going to throw it, try to throw a swing and miss changeup out of the zone, get him to chase something. Because especially with 2 strikes, a changeup, you're just kind of playing into his hands unless it's a ball, strike the ball changeup.
Now slider popped up. Boy, did he jam Semien. Easy play, Bichette, 2 down. Looney Dog Nights presented by Schneider's return to Rogers Center in 2022. What goes better together than baseball and $1 hot dogs? Come early and come hungry. Every Tuesday home game starting April the 26th. Visit BlueJays.com/LooneyDogs. Geddy Lee in the house. One of the Blue Jays super fans. He loves his baseball.
Yeah, he does. He's a great baseball fan, and you would expect that he would be here for opening night.
Seager with a fly ball to right field. Long run, Teoscar, and he's there. 1, 2, 3, go the Rangers. Fans on their feet after a nice play by Teoscar Hernandez on the heels of his home run an inning ago. Bottom 6, Jays coming up. Like the Blue Jays are must-see TV, so is Austin Matthews. If you didn't see this last night, look at this in overtime against Dallas, number 56 on the season to win it for the Maple Leafs. Why are we telling you this? Why are we showing you this? Because the Leafs take on the Canadiens tomorrow night, 6:30 Eastern on CBC and Sportsnet now. He is ridiculously talented and could win the Hart Trophy.
Great hands, very fast, moves around the defense at ease.
7-7. Going to the bottom of the 6th. Alejandro Kirk leads it off, pops it up, and in foul territory, Nathaniel Lowe makes the catch. You know, folks in Toronto, and with good reason, there have been some lean years in this city, but right now you look at how exciting this Blue Jay team is, and you got the likes of Vladimir Guerrero and Bo Bichette. With the Leafs, you got Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. With the Raptors, you got, you know, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet. This is pretty good stuff right now.
Yeah, there's some star players, a lot of star power in this city right now.
Here's Matt Chapman, 0 for 2 in his Blue Jay debut. Back our way and actually above us into the 500 level.
He's getting close. He popped up a high pitch earlier in the game on a good swing like that, and that might have been a little bit too high, but the bat speed is coming around. Vladdy and Gurriel chatting about Spores and what they might see in their next at bat should he stay in the game.
I think he's watching his home run, Buck.
Yeah.
Or maybe his catch. Maybe his catch.
Yeah, I might be talking about his catch. This is how you do it, boys. You know, I'm the first guy to go deep. I'm the first guy to wear the jacket. You want to look at this? Yeah. Hey, Bo, you want to see my home run? Hey, gee, this is my home run, yeah? I hit it good, man. What do you think? Yeah, keep it up, Dale.
I'll tell you, you could say this, and I mean this genuinely, and you'll back me up on this, Buck. You could say this about a lot of guys on this team, but you won't find a nicer person than Teoscar Hernandez.
No.
I don't mean you won't find a nicer Major League Baseball player. I mean you won't find a nicer person than Teoscar Hernandez.
Very humble, very courteous, always looks you in the eye, says hello, how you doing, how's everything going? They got a great group of guys, man. They're an easy team to root for.
Yep. Two to Chapman, and up high, full count. Danny Jansen waiting on deck. The Blue Jays, if you stepped away from your TV for a while, they were down 7-0 at the end of 3.5. Got 3 in the 4th and 4 in the 5th. The capper, the 3-run homer from Hernandez to tie it up, and strike 3 call. Well, back to Teoscar Hernandez and Vladimir Guerrero having some fun during the game and having some fun before the game. As our own Hazel May is interviewing Teoscar Hernandez, Vladdy is trying to get Teoscar to laugh. I think Vladdy would have been better off going around the other side and trying to make Hazel laugh, actually.
They do have fun, don't they? They really get along. Look at Hazel's going, man, he's not going to break.
Yeah.
He's not going to break character, that's for sure.
I'm sure Hazel gently scolded Vladdy, and I'm sure Vladdy just smiled. Danny Jansen a base hit and a ground out. you know what? And not only is it okay for them to have this much fun, it's great. When it's time to get serious, they get serious. But it's a long season, right? It's a grind. I mean, look at all the emotions and the ups and downs in this game. It's the first game of the season.
Yeah. And they never panic.
Yeah.
You know, they have so much confidence in themselves. They won 91 games last year and finished 4th in the division. And they know that it's going to be a grind. It's not going to be a pushover. I mean, the division is stacked. This is as good as the division has been for a bunch of years. Josh Donaldson had a walk-off hit in the 11th inning for the Yankees as Boston and New York went toe-to-toe.
Rays beat the Orioles 2-1 in their season opener.
Imagine that. The Rays beat the Orioles last year, 18-1 against the Orioles.
I mean, the Blue Jays were like 15-4 or something, but Tampa Bay was 18-1.
18-1 against the Orioles. And the Orioles might not have as good a team as they had last year.
They got some guys coming, but going to be a while. That's ball 4. Jansen aboard on a 2-out walk. Atlanta lost to Cincinnati in their opener last night. Robbie Ray was very good for Seattle today in a 2-1 win over Minnesota. Went 7 innings, gave up just 1 run. And more activity in the Texas pen as Dennis Santana is starting to throw. Second at bat of the night now for Santiago Espinal. Pinch hit for Kevin Biggio last inning. For those who didn't see the spring training games, and we talked about it a lot, I think you mentioned it earlier tonight, Espinal put on 15 pounds in the offseason. He bulked up. He hit a couple of long home runs in the spring, and he's hoping to carry that pop over to the regular season.
Well, we talk about the Blue Jays, and they have a grading system for their hitters. They talk about control, that's of the strike zone, contact percentage, and damage. And they're trying to improve Espinal's damage without giving up contact. He had .311 last year, and they believe with the added muscle, he'll improve the damage area.
Left center field, and this ball's going to get to the fence. Here comes Jansen around third, in to score, and the Blue Jays have taken the lead. There's some damage.
Indeed. He drove that ball on the line past a very good center fielder. Garcia didn't have a chance to cut it out. Danny Jansen's a good base runner. And he hustles around the sacks and gets an RBI for Espinal. The Blue Jays have erased a 7-0 deficit.
Another pitching change for the Rangers. 8-7 Blue Jays, bottom 6. Presented by TD concludes with your first chance to see Hyun-Jin Ryu this season. He will pitch Sunday against the Rangers here at Rogers Center. 1:37 start time. Note that the Sunday afternoon games are not 1 o'clock starts. They are now 1:30, or more accurately 1:37 starts this year. Get your tickets at BlueJays.com and don't miss out. I mean, look what you've seen tonight. How could you not want to get down here and see this team?
Yeah, you can't leave early. You got to stick to the end because this Blue Jay team is going to score a lot of runs, and now they're going to see a new pitcher, Dennis Santana. Santana pitched against the Blue Jays last year, and he kind of got roughed up on the 16th of July in a 10-2 loss. He pitched 2 innings, gave up 4 earned runs on 3 hits. And the Blue Jays, they had their way with Texas in Buffalo last year, beat them 3 in a row.
No swing. Ball one to George Springer, who struck out in the first, and then importantly, Buck, has walked each of his last 2 times up, setting the stage for big things to follow.
And he scored both times he's walked, and it was just a start. Had a leadoff walk in the 4th, a 2-out walk in the 5th. Again, we got to emphasize the 2-out hits. The rally in the 5th, in which they scored 4 runs on 3 hits, all started with 2 outs and nobody on, and then Springer got a walk. And then Danny Jansen gets a 2-out, or excuse me, yeah, Danny Jansen, the 2-out walk here in this inning, cashed in by Espinal.
There for a strike, 2-1. Gurriel's been a part of it. Teoscar Hernandez has been a big part of it. Vladimir Guerrero's been a big part of it as well. Off the end of the bat, 2-2.
I just wonder how long it's going to take for the opposing teams to honor the Blue Jays' right field approach. You know, everybody thinks, oh, they're power hitters, they're going to pull the ball all the time. That's not the case. Springer has shown it all spring long. Bo and Vladdy hit the ball from foul line to foul line.
A full count now on Springer. Espinal holding his ground out at second. And then, of course, if you straighten up the defense, then you've got bigger holes like between third and short and up the middle and that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, I mean, hitting coaches will tell their hitters, hey, get your lanes back. By getting your lanes back, they mean spread the defense out where you create a lot of lanes all over the diamond where you can get base hits.
And strike 3. Springer didn't like it, but it looked like it had the bottom of the zone to end the inning. But the Blue Jays have taken the lead. How about Santiago Espinal? Hitting a rocket to left center for a double. And Danny Jansen coming around from first. 8-7 Blue Jays at the end of 6. Record-breaking 50-50 jackpots are back. All sales online and in stadium will be combined over the first week of the season when exclusive Blue Jays early birds plus the mega jackpot. And you can see that jackpot's at $152,000 already and climbing. Buy online now at bluejays.com/5050. Another benefit of being back home here with big crowds. More money going into the 50-50 and going to a great cause through Jays Care. And look who it is. Adam Cimber, so good after getting picked up with a deal with the Marlins last year. Comes on here in the top of the 7th.
Well, he was great. He and Trevor Richards at the end of the season were really stabilizing factors down in that bullpen, and you can see his numbers a year ago. Very impressive across the board. He's not a power pitcher, not going to rack up a whole heck of a lot of strikeouts, but he's going to elicit an awful lot of soft contact. And it's an adjustment after Merriweather comes in and throws 97-98. Now you've got to find a sidearm release point, and it's not as hard. So it's a quick turnaround for the hitters now after dealing with Merriweather, who threw just 1 inning and faced 3 batters, got out of it quickly.
Mitch Garver leads it off. He is 2 for 2 with a walk, and one of his hits a home run tonight as he chops one weakly towards third. Here comes Chapman. Again, a little trouble getting it out of the glove, but plenty of arm to get it there in time.
Well, when Chapman and Bo Bichette really started working out together, Chapman said, I will take anything to your backhand side. And these slow hoppers, look how quickly he gets in front of Bo. He had a little bobble again, but he's got that extra zip on his throw to get it to first. But he told Bo, listen, don't worry about your backhand. I got you. Worry about up the middle. Only the hard hit smash to your backhand side, you're going to have to make a play on. Everything else, I got it.
Now Nathaniel Lowe has popped one up back of the plate. Jansen there, and very quickly 2 down here in the 7th.
How quickly has the momentum of this game turned around?
Unbelievable.
At the start of the game, John Gray set down 7 in a row. Looked like the Blue Jays were never going to get a hit. And then they got a little stability out of the bullpen. Ross Stripling came in and had a quick inning. Julian Merriweather had a quick inning. And now Cimber gets 2 up, 2 down quickly here in the 7th.
The bullpen is in such a good place compared to where it was at the beginning of last year. It's so much deeper. And again, it's an expanded roster right now, so they'll have to pare it down at some point. But a full year of Cimber, a full year of Trevor Richards, the addition of Jimmy Garcia, and everybody hopes a year of good health for David Phelps, who is back. And, you know, quietly is a very important guy in that Blue Jay bullpen. Everybody hoping Julian Merriweather stays healthy. I mean, all of these things are things they didn't have for the entirety of last season.
Yeah, they're going to have to cut down their pitching staff on May 2nd. There's a limit of 13 pitches that will be in play on May 2nd, so they have the luxury of an expanded bullpen so far. But after getting just 1 out from Jose Barrios, the bullpen has done a terrific job. There's Richards, and boy, he has been a nice addition to this pen. Very consistent. Pete Walker knows what you're going to get when you go to Cimber and Richards.
Jose Barrios didn't get out of the first, but the bullpen has picked him up, and the offense has picked him up. This one is sent a long way right center field, and it's going to go. A home run for Adolis Garcia, taking Cimber the other way. And that's going to tie it up at 8.
We mentioned Garcia set a franchise rookie record with 31 home runs last year. He was 4th in the Rookie of the Year voting. And he took a very interesting trip around the bases as he hits this ball to the opposite field. Just a fastball up and away at 87. And then he got to first base, and he actually stopped and looked into the dugout as he steps on the base. Carried the bat all the way to first and said, "How about that, guys? You like that?" Well, I tell you what, we see some unusual trots around the bases on home runs these days.
Garcia was really hearing it from the Blue Jay fans above the first base dugout. He has tied the game at 8. And here's Cole Calhoun. No swing. Calhoun 0 for 2, also hit by a pitch tonight. Eight runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Rangers. 8 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Blue Jays. The Rangers have left 5. The Blue Jays have left 2. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Cimber last year, while pitching for the Blue Jays, surrendered just 2 home runs in 37 1/3 innings. That home run was not an issue for him last year. But Garcia, he's got good power. He mentioned he had 31 homers a year ago.
Up and away.
You know, it's really interesting when you see the velocity 87, 88 miles an hour from Cimber, but he's an uncomfortable at bat, even for left-handed hitters, because he throws that slider that he can make travel up and in on the hands of the lefty hitters. Then he can throw the sinker on the inside or on the outside. It gives you a lot of different looks.
Top of the back, still 2-2.
Cimber used PitchCom in the spring, but they're not using it in this outing, and I wonder if the noise here at Rogers Center has created some issues
That's
for
a good call. Yeah.
the pitcher and the catcher. Obviously, in spring training, you don't have to deal with this type of noise, but we've seen Jansen have some struggles with it tonight.
Got the attendance for tonight. It is a sellout, 45,022 here at Rogers Center tonight, and the biggest crowd that just about everybody on the Blue Jays roster has played in front of in this ballpark. First home opener really in 3 years, going back to 2019.
Yeah, and the capacity of the stadium has changed since it first opened, and they have condensed some areas. They have utilized some areas for different types of fan access. There was a time when it was up to 50,000, and that's not the case any longer. But boy, it looks great, doesn't it, with the full house here? It's going to be an interesting team to watch all year long.
Going to be a fun year. And as you said early, long before they made the comeback, I mean, they're never out of a game, and you were bang on with that assessment tonight.
Well, they just believe in each other, and we saw it early on when they took a couple of walks and a couple of singles and got back into the game.
Jansen back for a look, but won't have a play. Cimber, the 6th pitcher of the night for the Blue Jays. Dave Hudgens on the left. His title this year is a hitting strategist as he talks to Guillermo Martinez, the hitting coach for the Blue Jays. Some new faces and some familiar faces in new roles this year. Hernandez drifting back, but has room. The home run by Garcia has tied it. But look who's coming up for the Blue Jays. Heart of the order, Bo Bichette is going to lead it off. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. coming up second. And then the guy with the big blast tonight, Teoscar Hernandez, due up third. Raptors have clinched a playoff spot, but they've got to wrap up the regular season, and they'll do it by taking on R.J. Barrett and the Knicks. Sunday at 6:30 Eastern on Sportsnet and Sportsnet Now. What an exciting year they've had. Pascal Siakam having a great year. What a rookie season for Scotty Barnes. Raptors are going to be dangerous in the playoffs. 8-8 tie, bottom 7. What an opening night here at Rogers Center. Here's Bo Bichette, 2 for 3. And that's going to eat up Corey Seager as Bichette reaches.
Yeah, this is what I mean about defending against the Blue Jays. Bo had a single to center, a line drive base hit to right, and now he hits a bullet, and it's going to be an error, but the defense never really knows where Bo's going to hit the ball. And when you do that, you're not really sure as a defender, you're going to be back on your heels. And right here, and Seager just never really got a glove on it. He whiffed on it, and he's fortunate it hit him in the leg. It stayed close, so Bo couldn't have a chance to advance to second.
So leadoff man aboard, go ahead run aboard. And the batter is Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 2 for 3 with a pair of RBI singles. Boy, is it buzzing in here right now. Well hit. But Garcia's going to run it down on the edge of the track, and Bichette has to retreat.
Teoscar Hernandez in his last at bat, and this statcast is powered by Google Cloud, and you're going to see a bullet, a 3-run home run hit to right field. Back in the 5th inning, his first of the season, traveled 389 feet, and it came off the bat at 108 miles an hour, and there was a no-doubt home run. As soon as he hit it, he knew it was gone. And that got the Blue Jays right back in the game. That would give them the lead, and they have since tied it up. It is now 8-8.
I wonder if Bichette's in a running mood right here, given the stage of the game that it's at, tie game. He was 25 of 26 stealing bases last year.
He's got a great feel for the timing.
At the knees for a strike, 1-1.
Teoscar's home run came against Josh Spores, a right-hander. Santana came in the game. This is his second inning of work.
At the knees again, 1-2. Amazing how many guys come out of a bullpen throwing 97 with movement these days.
And they're just geared up for an inning, maybe an inning and a half, 2 innings. That's about it. Go as hard as you can for as long as you can.
Yep.
And you see he got that call, and that's the basis for these catchers catching on one knee, is to get that cold strike bottom of the zone. 40% of the called strikes are down at the bottom of the zone, and they want the catchers to catch everything moving their glove up. So you start down and you work up back into the strike zone.
Ooh, a hanging breaking ball right there.
He got away with one right there. And especially with 2 strikes, you leave something up in the air like that, and it's going to be damage time. That is Hunter Mintz. I believe it's Hunter. That's the hitting assistant coach, and he will talk a lot about sequencing and what a pitcher's strengths are, and he'll pass that information on to the hitters.
Inside, 3-2. And now do you think Bo's running? Full count, 1 out, tie game?
Yeah, I think you can run him here. I think it's a situation where you can start the runner. You're here at home, and Teoscar, they put the bat on the ball, you get a base hit, Bo might be able to score from first.
Rangers thinking the same thing.
Yeah, he looked like he was running there. He was a little bit late getting back to the bag. Chris Woodward's going to check the review room to see if they have something they want to challenge. He said check it. That's Bobby Wilson.
Wow.
On the phone. They're going to have a look at the review, and we're going to get an opportunity to hear the umpires address the crowd for the first time here at Rogers Center.
Yeah, this is something new. The umpires are mic'd up.
Texas is challenging the safe call at first base.
This is great. This is a great innovation. It's been done in other sports. It's long overdue in baseball. And then after they go to the headset and get the result, the umpires will tell everybody at home and here in the ballpark what the result was.
Yeah, I talked to several umpires in spring training, and some of them are nervous about talking, but they all have earpiece. They all have the headset they can hear, and you can see Andy Fletcher, who made the call at first, he's listening to New York as well. And I have been to the replay room in New York, and it's a pretty interesting situation. And there's the tag. If he tagged him, he's out. He was in the air.
Yeah, he was definitely running. He was definitely leaning.
Yeah.
There's that fatal half first step, and now they called him safe on the field, and that's important, but it did look like the tag was on the hip of Bichette before he got back.
It's interesting how replay has changed defenders' style of making tags, because the first baseman went to get the runner instead of waiting at the bag to tag him.
Right.
So you want your infielders to be aggressive and go get the base runner, whether it's at first on a pickoff or second on a steal. And Lowe did that perfectly. He goes after Bo and tags him on the hip there, and Bo's still in the air. He's not back safely. But it's all because of the advent of replay that infielders have been given different instructions as to how you put a tag on a base runner.
And we believe when the umpires have the ruling from New York, again, they will kind of face home plate, face the press box area.
After review, the call is overturned. The runner is out. Texas retains their challenge.
So there you have it. Bichette picked off for the second out.
Yeah, that really simplifies things, and you just never really know. But the ability to say the call is overturned, Texas retains the challenge, and Bo is called out. So the call on the field was overturned.
So 2 down and the base is empty, just like that, and a full count on Hernandez. And ball 4. So the Blue Jays do have a base runner now for Lourdes Gurriel Jr. And Doug Mathis is on his way to the mound for a conversation with Santana.
Rated everyone. MLB The Show 22 is available now. Every pitch, every hit, every win. Own the show.
An interesting night, to say the least, to open up the season for the Blue Jays. 45,000 here, a sellout. Dan Shulman, Buck Martinez, Hazel May. The Blue Jays were once down 7-0. Came back, tied it, took the lead, gave the lead back. And it's now 8-8 bottom 7 with a runner on and 2 down for Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
An RBI on a fielder's choice back in the 4th inning when the Blue Jays got back in the game. They scored 3 in the 4th, 4 in the 5th, and 1 in the 6th. And here we are now tied at 8.
Lourdes is 0 for 3 on the night. Did pick up an RBI on a fielder's choice back in the 4th. In the dirt, 2-0. Blue Jays are back at it tomorrow afternoon against the Rangers. It'll be the Blue Jay debut for Kevin Gausman. Had such a great year with the Giants last year. Blue Jays have really, Buck, been interested in him for a few years. They tried to get him this way, that way, whatever way they could, and they finally got him to a 5-year deal.
Yeah, and he has really refined his pitching approach. As when we saw him in Baltimore, he always had a good arm. He had a good fastball, but he couldn't master the slider. And the Orioles kept pushing him to throw the slider, and it wasn't working. The Braves and then later the Dodgers or the Giants freed him up and said, okay, let's can the slider for now and just focus on 3 pitches.
Yanked to left field. This ball's going to get down. Teoscar racing for third, getting the wave. The relay to the plate is in time. And Hernandez thrown out at the plate to end the inning. Charlie Montoyo's got his hand up. Will the Blue Jays ask for a challenge?
They want a challenge.
They want a challenge.
Yeah.
I think what John Schneider was saying is safe.
Yeah.
I think that's what he was saying to Charlie. So now the Blue Jays are going to ask for a challenge.
Now, I like the send by Luis Rivera. In that situation, Teo's a great base runner. Put the pressure on the left fielder Miller. Running to his right, he made a good relay to Seager, who's got a good arm. Who
Toronto challenging the out at home plate.
made another relay right on the money. But yeah, I like the send. Go ahead. You're tied. You're home. Take a shot.
2 down, sure.
Look at Seager's relay. He gets a perfect feed from Miller, a chest-high throw, and he throws a 1-hop strike. He's safe.
He's safe.
That's another example of catchers playing into this rule that you can't block the plate. You've got to come up and make the tag. He's safe. His foot is on home before he puts the tag on.
Garver is behind the plate.
Move up.
Yeah.
I mean, you invite the runner to put his foot on home plate. All you got to do is to move the shin guard forward. He's safe.
Well, I know 45,000 people who agree with you.
But all you got to do as a catcher is take one step forward, and you can block the plate.
Now, we have been surprised at times in the past, as you well know, Buck, about calls we thought would go a certain way and didn't, but I'm with you. It sure looks like he beat it. The call on the field is out.
Well, the umpire is not in a very good position.
Right.
He's blocked by the catcher, and he can't really see where the tag is applied and when Teoscar's foot hit home plate. You got to continue to move as an umpire. When that throw is on the line, all you got to do is move around the catcher, and you see he's looking
leaning
over.
Around.
He can't see it.
Can't see it. Yep.
And Bill Welke's a terrific umpire, but he did not have good position on that play. Just keep moving around as the umpire to get the best look you can at home plate.
It's one of those where the ball beat him there, but because Garver was behind the plate and took the throw high, let's see.
After review, the runner is safe. The batter runner will be placed at third base, and Toronto retains their challenge.
This is pretty good theater, isn't it? This is something.
It's terrific.
Yeah.
The runner is safe. Gurriel ends up at third, and you could see the Blue Jays review room told John Snyder he's safe. Good work all around by the Blue Jays video crew.
So each team challenged something this inning. Jose Barrios is into it. Didn't have a fun first inning, but he's having a little bit more fun right now. Teammates bailed him out. Teoscar getting toweled off, and it's 9-8 Blue Jays. Buck, I'll tell you, 162 like this might be too much for people, man.
I think I can handle it.
Meanwhile, Gurriel came to third on the throw to the plate. So double RBI to third on the throw. And here's Kirk. Kirk 0 for 2, also a sac fly. A very important run, and even more important as the night's gone along, that he drove in that sac fly to bring in the third run back in the fourth inning.
But you look at the balance of the lineup. Springer has scored 2 runs, doesn't have a hit. Bo's got 2 hits. Vladdy's got 2 hits and 2 RBIs. Teoscar has a 3-run home run. Gurriel has 2 ribbies. Kirk's got a sac fly. And Espinal has an RBI in his only plate appearance. Balanced.
Fly ball to left. It's got some carry, but not quite enough. The catch made on the track by Miller, and an eventful 7th inning comes to a close. Teoscar Hernandez racing around the bases, and the Blue Jays getting the call. They're up again. Celebrate the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson's MLB debut. Jackie Robinson night is 1 week from tonight, Friday, April 15th. First 15,000 fans to see the A's and the Jays will receive a Jackie Robinson t-shirt giveaway. Visit BlueJays.com/tickets today. Lots and lots of reasons to come down to the ballpark. Blue Jays 9, Rangers 8. In the top of the 8th inning here on opening night, and a newcomer to the Blue Jays, but a veteran guy, been around the block a few times, has had a nice career. This is Jimmy Garcia. In the past, for the most part, it's been pronounced Yimmy, but you and I both went up to him in the spring and said, how do you pronounce your name? And he said, I'd like it pronounced Jimmy. So Jimmy Garcia, who has been brought in, Buck, for this job, primarily to be the 8th inning guy, kind of the bridge to Jordan Romano.
Yeah, he originally signed with the Dodgers. He got to the big leagues for the first time in 2014 with LA. And he has spent time with Miami, Houston most recently. And the Blue Jays picked him up, and he's going to be an important part of this bullpen.
He had 15 saves with the Marlins last year before the trade to Houston in a deeper Astros pen. He worked in lower leverage situations, but he's got a lot of playoff experience, and a lot of it came last year with Houston. He made 10 appearances in the postseason for the Astros last season. And as the old saying goes, you can never have enough pitching. So just another arm down there to help get to Romano, or on a day maybe where Romano's not available, if he's pitched 2 in a row, Garcia, veteran guy, can step in.
Yeah, he's got a big arm, man. That's what you like. Late in the game, you want swing and miss. You don't want any balls put in play, pop-ups, strikeouts. Those are what you're looking for, especially in the East. When you get up matched up against the AL East teams, you need strikeouts late in the game. The lineups are so potent and so deep that you start giving up contact, just like the Blue Jays tonight. Couple of walks, couple of singles, boom, boom, boom. Somebody hits a 3-run shot, you're back in the game.
Yeah.
So you need swing and miss arms late in the game.
Reaching for it, Ibanez pops it up. Tricky play. No, it's not. Vladdy's got it.
Boy, I tell you what, Vladdy read that perfectly. He knew Teo was pretty deep in right field, so he saw the ball in the air and just took off to right field. Watch where he is right there. He is right on the dirt, and he turns and runs, puts his head down, looks for it, finds the ball over his shoulder. That's a tough play, man.
It is, yep.
That's a tough play. He is running away, and believe me, that ball is bouncing on him as he's running out toward outfield, but he's the only guy that had a chance to make that play. The best guy I ever saw making that play, Kent Hrbek. For a big guy like Vladdy,
well, yeah.
He could flat out go get him down that line.
You know, Vladdy had a really nice year defensively. We always talk about the bat, obviously. He did really well defensively this year, but I think everybody feels there's more in there defensively as well, including Vladdy himself. Here's Willie Calhoun. Ooh, and a call for Garcia on a pitch that looked outside. Shift on for the Blue Jays. And then Springer well over to left center. A huge gap in right center. And hoping for a chance in the 9th, the local kid, Jordan Romano from Markham, got a huge ovation and couldn't help but break into a big smile before the game. You know, and you keep him healthy, Buck, and Romano will have numbers right up there with any closer in the game at the end of the season.
Yeah, he will. And he is really learning how to pitch. Last year, he got, at times, a little slider happy, got away from his fastball. His fastball is his best pitch. And Pete Walker is the master at minimizing a guy's arsenal. And saying, hey, let's do what's most effective. And you know what? Pete said, where was that pitch? He thought that was a good pitch. It looked like it was a strike. Bill Welke, the veteran umpire, now a crew chief.
Jansen can't get there in time. Still 2-2.
Discover the all-new Samsung Galaxy S22. Get it now at Rogers, Canada's largest and most reliable 5G network.
Quite a night here at the ballpark. The Blue Jays up 9-8 on the Rangers in the top of the 8th inning. They've used 7 pitchers already in this game. Shallow left. Chapman back. Gurriel calls him off. 2 down.
Think these guys are having any fun? Huh?
How happy do you think Matt Chapman is to have wound up here? He knew he was going to get traded, right? And how happy do you think he is to be with this group?
I said, I got it, man. Yep, I'm cool out here. Okay. You know, you can't make this stuff up. These guys are genuinely good guys that love to play baseball.
Top of the order, Brad Miller. Here's where the power comes back in the Texas lineup. Miller's already homered tonight. Semien and Seager are behind him. And if you're the Blue Jays, wouldn't you love Garcia to finish this inning right here and let Romano have a clean start with the big fellas coming up in the 9th? This one ain't over yet. Down low, and it's a 2-0 count on Miller. Right on the corner, 2-1.
Absolutely right on the corner. Great fastball. He really drove it to that outside corner. Miller, of course, started this game with a leadoff home run.
A change up there that he bounced in 3-1. You got to make Miller earn his way on. You don't want to put a guy on for Marcus Semien. I'll tell you, I'm sure I know it's Friday night, but I'm sure a bunch of people have to wake up early in the morning and go somewhere and do something, but they haven't left here tonight. Game started late because of the ceremony. It's been a long one, but this place is still packed.
Yes, it is, and they're excited, of course.
Not a play.
Miller spoiling some good pitches in this at bat. There's going to be a lot of these fans that are worn out given the emotional roller coaster ride they've been on tonight. Their team fell down 7-0 and they go, oh no, opening night 7-0. Come on, guys.
Ball 4. The tying run is aboard, and here comes Marcus Semien. And here comes Pete Walker. And Tim Meza's up. Buck, I would imagine if Semien got on, then Meza would come in to face Corey Seager.
Yeah. Meza had a phenomenal season last year, so he is getting loose for a potential Corey Seager matchup. Pete Walker, obviously his first opportunity to work with Garcia. We have seen him do this in the past. Pivotal at bats, he goes out there and takes the onus off the pitcher and catcher. Said, here's the game plan with these guys. Just execute these pitches and you should be okay. So he'll go out there and give the pitcher information as to how he can get this hitter out. And it's a challenge with Semien.
And a strike to Semien. I got a strange one for you, Buck. Blue Jay pitchers have not struck out a batter tonight. You know, strikeouts at an all-time high. There have actually been very few strikeouts in the game both ways, but the Rangers haven't struck out once. Semien with a fly ball to right, not deep. And the side is retired. Garcia gets the job done. 9-8 going bottom 8. Time once again for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie and Joe. All kinds of ebb and flow and different emotions and ups and downs, and it's opening night. This is game 1. Blue Jays were down 7-0. They're up 9-8 going to the bottom of the 8th right now. Matt Chapman, the newest Blue Jay, one of the newest Blue Jays. Ace is all fired up. 45,000 people are here. And the Blue Jays trying to win their season opener. As Chapman will lead off the bottom of the 8th inning with Greg Holland. At one point, of course, one of the elite relievers in the game back in his peak days with the Royals. He got the last spot on the bullpen for the Rangers this year.
Yeah, and they just hope that he can provide some sort of stopper at the end of the bullpen for them. And they don't have a closer right now. Woody is not going to announce a closer just yet. He's going to let somebody earn it. But Holland is now 36 years old, and he had some great years in Kansas City. 8 years with the Royals and 159 saves.
Part of those great teams that won a World Series, played in another. Chapman goes around.
Holland was an all-star in 13 and 14, and then once again in 17. After missing all of 16, he signed with Colorado and had 41 saves for the Rockies. Was an all-star internationally.
Has always had one of the more unusual deliveries in the game. You talk about a guy falling off to the first base side. I mean, he does that more than anybody.
Look at that. He's replicating that delivery.
Yeah.
Exactly. He steps toward the first base foul line. It's really unusual because he is falling toward the foul line and his arm is really out here, and you would think that the hitters had a long time to track the baseball because he doesn't hide it at all, but because his body's going first, the arm kind of drags and the timing is disrupted.
You know, we talk about how much fun they have, but I love that Vladdy is going over to Espinal, who presumably has not faced Holland, and saying to him, this is what he does. You know, focus on this. Don't get caught up in that. I mean, there's this, and now he's got Charlie rolling. I mean, it's amazing how these guys can go from serious to fun and back again in the blink of an eye. And a swing and a miss by Chapman. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Well, as Vladdy said, last year everybody saw the trailer. This year they're going to see the movie. Danny Jansen, left field, gone. Pretty good movie so far. I like the way it starts. It's interesting.
Yeah, you can't figure out the ending with the way it started, that's for sure. But Danny Jansen, big smile on his face. He had a tough offensive start to his season, but boy, did he finish up strong. And now, for the second time this season, the home run jacket has been brought up. And that was a shot. .4 miles off the bat. He jumped all over that four-seam fastball.
And it's a 2-run lead here in the bottom of the 8th. One more look.
Great sound. He squared it up and hits it deep over the bullpen and left.
the jacket.
Let me do the honors. And if you think Vladdy has to have attention, you are sadly mistaken. He is not about anything other than team.
Yeah, this is all genuine.
Yep. This is all about being a teammate.
Well, listen, he's the mayor, right? I mean, that comes with responsibility.
He's the mayor of the barrio, for sure.
And some long faces on the other side of the field on a night that began so well for the Rangers. 10-8 Blue Jays, bottom 8.
They lost 102 games last year. And they came out opening night, scored 7 runs early, including 4 in the first. Had a 7-0 lead and looked like they had the Blue Jays down for good. It's hard to hold the Blue Jays down for good.
Two and one the count on Espinal. And a big September, if he can carry some of that over and be a real contributor down near the bottom of the order, the offense gets that much more potent. Espinal lines one to left, but Miller is there, 2 down.
Espy's had 2 good at-bats. He got a RBI double in his first plate appearance in the 6th and hit that one right on the button.
So 2 down and back around to the top of the order for George Springer. He has struck out twice and he has walked and scored twice. The Rangers will send up Corey Seager, Mitch Garver, and Nathaniel Lowe. They're 3, 4, 5 hitters in the 9th inning. And Jordan Romano is ready for duty. Remember, rolled that ankle probably, I guess, about 8 or 10 days ago now, walking his dog down in Florida, but got into a game on Tuesday, felt fine, no issues. And Springer narrowly avoids getting hit.
That fastball runs up in the end, and George trying to hang in there, thinking about maybe getting the breaking ball. Has to jump back late just to get out of the way.
Chops it foul, and it's 1-2. Funky delivery, and you get some funky swings against Greg Holland.
Yeah, but he made a mistake to Danny Jansen, and he paid the price. I know Danny's dad is here, and he certainly got a great view of that Jansen home run, first of the season.
You know, a guy who's had to work really hard behind the plate, a lot of pitches, a lot of pitchers in this game, and then to contribute offensively as well. Didn't go. 2-2.
Yeah, when you have a tough start to a ball game as a catcher, you give up 4 in the first, 2 in the second, then you fall behind 7-0. You start to think, what am I doing wrong here? You know, our pitchers are pretty good. You start to think maybe I'm doing something, but that's not the case. And John Gray was unhittable early in the game, and then he lost it in the 4th inning. A couple of walks, a couple of singles. The Blue Jays got back in it.
Springer strikes out to end the inning. The Jays had an insurance run on the homer by Danny Jansen and will turn a 2-run lead over to Jordan Romano going to the 9th. Markham's own into the game here in the 9th inning to try to lock it up. New scoreboard, new lighting system here at Rogers Center. Look at the reception for Romano when he comes into the game. That's good stuff. It's loud, it's bright, got lots of different colors. It's got my attention. That's a pretty cool entrance for Jordan Romano.
Yeah, and you know what? The NHL, the NBA, they've been doing that for years, and now baseball's catching up. But that was terrific. What a way to enter a ball game. Jordan Romano, a terrific season a year ago. 85 strikeouts in 63 innings. He had knee surgery in the offseason. He feels 100% from that. You mentioned his sprained ankle in the spring was not a major issue. And now he's got a 2-run lead and a save opportunity.
Corey Seager will lead it off, the number 3 hitter in the Texas lineup. Seager 2 for 3 with a walk in his debut with the Rangers. Romano is the 8th pitcher of the night for the Blue Jays. Good fastball at 96, fouled off, and it's 1-1. Romano was 23 for 24 in save situations a year ago. After Seager, it'll be Mitch Garver, Nathaniel Lowe, 3, 4, 5 in the lineup. Blew it by him, 2-2.
Now we have seen Romano's fastball as high as 99, and he's got 2 sliders. He's got a hard slider that he'll rarely throw in the strike zone, and he likes to throw that with 2 strikes.
Stays with the fastball, fouled back.
And now what you do here, you speed up the guy's bat, and that sets up the slider in the dirt where he thinks, I got to get it going to catch up to 97. That's when that slider is so effective. But you don't want to throw the slider in the zone. You want to start it in the zone and break it down out of the zone.
Yep, strike to ball, breaking ball. If you're Seager, you know one of 2 things is coming. Slider low, full count. Garver next. It's stressful, but it's a good kind of stressful. Got him. Nasty slider, 1 down.
Tell you what, pitchers have become so tough, especially when you have 2 top pitches, fastball and slider. Hitters don't know which one to look for, and now Romano's at the point where he's got confidence he can throw it 3 and 2. Because he throws so hard, hitters are going to have to start their swing early, and a good hitter, Seager, strikes out to start the 9th.
Now Garver 2 for 3, including a home run. Don't forget, we're back with you tomorrow. Blue Jays and Rangers again. Blue Jays Central, 2:30 Eastern Time. And then Buck and Hazel and I will have game 2 of this series. Charlie Montoyo will give the ball to Kevin Gausman for his Blue Jay debut. 2 outs away from a victory here on opening night. Everybody up on the top step. One of the hitting stars tonight, Teoscar Hernandez, and the running star, I guess, as well, with that play at home plate. Marcus Semien's return to Toronto. And a fastball in there, 3-1. Right down the middle, 3-2.
They took a little bit off, but he was able to throw that strike. Still 94 miles an hour.
And this ball's lifted to left. Gurriel racing to the line, sliding, and he made the catch.
After a shaky start in the field, the Blue Jays have made some good plays here later on, and this is a terrific play. Potential extra base hit right down in the corner, and Gurriel celebrating a terrific sliding catch just in fair territory. That ball bounces away from him. It's 2 for sure, maybe 3, as it rattles around in the corner, but he takes extra bases away from Mitch Greiver.
What a play by Gurriel for out number 2. Here is Nathaniel Lowe. Is there anything this game hasn't had? What a night.
Well, the strikeout of Seager, the first strikeout by a Blue Jays pitcher tonight. And Romano's the 8th Blue Jays pitcher.
Now a strike away. Down 7-0 in the 4th. Now a strike away from a huge comeback win on opening night.
The Blue Jays, as you mentioned, down 7-0. This will be the 5th time they have come back from a 7-run deficit here at Rogers Center. Most recently, 2019 against the Rays in July, they trailed 9-2 and came back and won.
Again, the 1-2. Got him. What a way to kick off the season.
Well, when you have your ace on the mound, and Barrios got the nod for opening night, he got 1 out. He trailed 4-0 before he could get a second out. And the Blue Jays just don't give up. They know they have the offense to come back from any deficit. Teoscar Hernandez gave them a lead with a 3-run home run in the 5th. Danny Jansen with a additional insurance home run in the 8th, but the balance in the lineup proved dramatic once again as everybody made a contribution.
And the guy with the biggest smile in the ballpark, he earned it tonight. A huge 3-run homer for Teoscar Hernandez. A nice running catch as well. Scored a critical run in a very close play at home plate. He did a little bit of everything tonight, and for that he is standing with Hazel May.
Dan, thank you very much. Well, the movie got off to a little bit of a slow start, but then Teoscar Hernandez helped really get things going. On that 3-run home run with 2 men on, you're looking at a 1-1 pitch, Teo. What are you thinking in that at-bat?
I mean, I just tried to put the ball in play. I know I got up in third base and just tried to keep the rally going and try to do my best.
You got things going all right. Take us through that play, how it unfolded as you round third, heading for home. There was no one happier that review was called safe. What was going through your mind as you slid there?
I mean, as soon as Gurriel hit the ball, I know it was 2 out, so I just put my head down and tried to go for everything and score the run, and I luckily made it.
You did make it. This ball club was down 7-0 in the 4th inning. What did you and your teammates show the baseball world tonight?
I think they already know it. I think for me and for my teammates, this is what the fans from Toronto want.
Over 45,000 strong here to see you guys, welcome you home. What was it like to play in front of this fan and these fans and this crowd?
I think they come today for this, and that's what we give the fans that we love, and this is for you, fans.
All right, there's a reason why he's a 2-time Silver Slugger Award winner, Teoscar Hernandez. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's send it back to Dan and Buck.
Hazel, thank you. What a way to kick off the season. And the best part is there's another game tomorrow. We're just getting started. This is game 1. Blue Jays 10 and the Rangers 8 on a wild night. Time now for Sportsnet Central with much more. Here are Carly and Faisal.